We are about to get started now. Oh, come on. I literally just fixed this stupid piece of... Oh, there we go. All right. How's it going, folks? We are back. We are back. We are back. Some of you jumped into my earlier lunchtime stream playing Waifu Simulator 101. I hope you enjoyed your time there. It was a great waifu experience, and some of you actually got to see on Monday Shift Up's first game, the developers of Stellar Blade. Steve, you make me worried, my dude. You make me worried. Jakob. I think I've pronounced it. Is it Jacob or Jakob? Just let me know, because you've got a surname, foreign surname, so it could be a silent J. But, what up, little man? You want to charge your phone with my charger? How much are you going to pay me? How much are you going to pay me to use my... Oh, come back. If you say hi to chat, then I'll give it to you for free. Come here, you little monkey. Yeah. All this time we've not been shy. Now you're shy. Man, he's off. He legged it. Oh, so it is Jakob. Okay, cool. I'm pretty good with names. He just woke up. Oh, mate. It was an interesting stream. But first thing first, small update from me. House hunting is going shit. The few places we have found are from the Stone Age, where they have a 5 megabit internet connection. So I've had to put those on the back burner, because I don't think I mean, that's worse than living out in the streets in this day and age. So the search goes on for those that are curious. So I thought I'd get that out the way first thing. So for people that are wondering, it's still going shit, but we've got a couple more viewings and see what we can do. But yeah, 2 to 5 meg internet? No. No way. That's literally Cardboard City. That's Cardboard City, man. So, we are seeing how that goes. We found one that pretty much is begging us to move in, but they have no internet in the property, so that doesn't work because I work from home. Mate, they have no internet. They can't. They're literally in a dark zone where they have no internet in that area at all. How do you live in this day and age with no internet? Oh, it's working. You're just seeing things, Jakob. You get to feel like Taz before he got big boy internet. Mate, at least he had internet. I'll take the hamsters at this point. But yeah, so that's just a little update from me. Otherwise, things are going okay. I'm just messing, Jakob. It's a thing with this whole setup that I've got. But yeah, so how is everyone else? How are we all doing? I mean, in the UK, we actually have really good internet, but it seems like all the properties that I'm looking at that want to accept us are looking to accept us because they have no internet. Well, you can always play Tower of Fantasy, Steve, or any other waifu simulator. Stimulate those neurons. You know, that's another game I want to play. You know what? Lately, I've just played nothing. I'm just going to open my window. Oh my god, reading. Who are you? Who are you even? I don't even know you. Hey, don't drop. Alright. It's been rather hot in this property lately. Now, Steve, what you need is one of these. What you need is one of these. This is what you need. And you need the non-existent Stadia to go with it. It's really good. Yeah, Asuka is actually not bad, Zrogdal. Asuka's not bad. From what I'm hearing, you need an A1, which is typical for that, but unfortunately, I've heard, I'm going to make a video on this probably tomorrow, that Master U's coming on 3.8, so that pretty much cemented me not pulling for Asuka. And she's Flame. What is wrong with you now? Wait. Why'd you... You didn't even charge? Oh, you're going to bed? Have a good night. It's a bit early, isn't it? Okay. Normally he's in bed by 9:30. Okay. I don't. Archangel. I've played the old ones. I haven't played the new one. You're making an expose video on me? Huh? You're exposing me for what? I did nothing. I did nothing. But things are going okay. Look, I don't think there's a single person in this chat that would actually mind me being a waifu simp. And I think we can all agree, right, chat? We can all agree that Gears of War could use some bit of waifu, injection in Gears 6. You know, seeing those, those Gears characters, in those Stellar Blade outfits. I'm doing good, folks. I'm doing good. I enjoyed the old armor cores. I also liked the old virtual ons. They were very similar. I mean, Gears 5 was a bit of a mess, right? Gears 5 kind of played it way too safe. Chaos exposed as I play, but Gears of War Waifu Edition pre-order now. Oh, baby, that's what I'm talking about, Sazano. Hey, Ninja Squirrel. You see what I've started now, Steve? There's going to be enough tweets online. It's going to happen. Did I pre-order it for PS5? Why on earth would I do that? Let them guys pre-order it. Yeah, I had the twin sticks for the Sega Saturn. If you remember the Sega Saturn, they actually had the twin sticks, so I had that for Virtual On Sega Saturn. That was awesome. Did any of you ever play a game called Steel Battalion? I know it's going back a few years. It was on the original Xbox. That thing was insane. Unfortunately, it failed hard. And when I say hard, it failed really hard. That was the Steel Battalion controller. You mean if they actually made more than 200 copies? It would actually do really well. I got mine for 200 quid. You're basically in some giant mech. You got the eject button. I'm trying to point to it. But you got the eject button over here. So you had to flip the switch. Most people broke this because of their anxiousness to eject before they die, because you lose pretty much everything. You had to start your motors up and everything and use the pedals to move around. This was cool. It was really cool. But they only made 250 of them. And then they wondered why it didn't do so well. Well, maybe because they sold all 250 and then no one, they didn't make any more. But this is the type of stupid marketing that they do. They build something like this, really impressive, and then they don't kind of follow through. And it was always online as well, which means that even though you've got the joystick and the game, you can't use it. You go to the title screen and it's dead. Servers are off. So you've pretty much got a brick in your hands as a peripheral, which is a massive shame. And this is the problem with the always online, right? You're not late, pal. We just had like a pre-stream. The twin sticks. Talking about Virtual On. And this came to mind because I was a huge fan. I appreciate that, Taylor. Thank you very much. So, looks like a flight. Now, you actually piloted a mech, Power. A proper mech. Adidas, what up with that member for 3 months? Thank you, dude. I appreciate you. I am good, my dude. I am good. So, Steel Battalion is the game, Power Boss. Steel Battalion. It would, right? It would. But so there's been a lot of talk about this one podcast, and Risk It has been getting flamed from quite a lot of people. They should. Erie, they should. They should just make it for VR. VR would be the easiest thing. And you can just play it as long as the VR controls were accurate enough. Because, I don't know if you guys have seen my video on this. Some of you may have, some of you may not have. But, it's been an interesting ride because we've literally just come out of rumor hell. And as you can see, Jez saying here, can confirm that as of right now, this is completely false. And obviously, the key thing here is as of right now, right? That is the biggest takeaway from that. So he's not saying that it never will happen, but as of this moment, everything that Riskit is saying is false. And these rumors are starting to get stupid. And I called it out as clout chasing because, like, why would you even talk about it? Not a single media outlet is talking about it or making any comments on it. So my question is, like, why are Xbox fans purposefully trying to kill the Xbox brand? It doesn't make sense to me. Hey, Rabbi, how's it going? Well, Arthur, at the end of the day, the caveats are there because Phil Spencer forced them to be there. If Phil Spencer said that these games, the AAA games will not be going, Hellblade would still be a question, right? Because it's not a AAA game. It's a AA game. But regardless of that point, if Phil Spencer just turned around and said, our staple titles, our AAAs, Blade, Indie, Halo, Forza, Gears, all of these big staples, Elder Scrolls 6, will be Xbox ecosystem exclusive, that would be the end of the conversation. But he didn't say that. They are scorned women. I'm good, Rabbi. I'm good. As well as can be. My body's finally used to the insulin injection, which is good. It only took 4 days for my body to get used to it. So 5 days. So that's a plus sign. It was a weird experience for the past few days. But otherwise, I'm good. I bet the voices in his head have revealed it to him. Have you guys heard this clip? Let's have a listen to it. And we can break it down again. Oh, I am extremely tired of the rumors, Rabbi. I am very tired of the rumors. It's getting annoying. It's pissing me off. And they just need to bugger off. And what annoys me the most, what annoys me the absolute most, is the fact that Xbox, influencers are the ones making this a thing. It's not IGN, it's not Eurogamer, it's not The Verge, it's not anyone. It's an Xbox influencer. Or, even if, I don't even know if you can call him an Xbox influencer. He's a smaller channel than me, and I'm an absolute nobody. So let's fix this. Bada bing, bada bing. All right. Yeah, we can do that. Let's see if this is working.
Because I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here.
Okay, that works. So let's break this down a little. Yeah, but Arthur, on what premise? Where is the proof? Where is any watermarked document? I'm not asking him to come out and tell his source. Anyone asking him to come out and expose his sources is stupid. No one is ever going to do that, right? Ever going to do that. So The people on the internet and on Twitter that ask, who's your source? That's a really, really dumb question. No one will ever reveal their source. I won't reveal my source. That's like literally throwing the people that told you under the bus and getting them fired. No one's going to do that, right? But let's have a listen to this. What's that, Power Boss? Peter Ovo has been well, Tim, he's lost cause. Peter, I don't know. I think he's still just butthurt. He's just spouting stuff and saying stuff, and then incriminates himself in the process of doing it. Your voices are just sources. 4 separate sources, yet he's the only one with those sources, and nobody online over the likes of Jez and the usual crew. It has to be. Did it die? Well, that's not good. That's not good.
You something, because I'm not throwing anyone under the bus here. And I've kept this under my hat for quite some time. But I've now confirmed this with 4 separate sources. I haven't seen any documentation or banners that would prove it, but I have confirmed it with 4 separate sources that also say the same thing. So there is a Hellblade 2 port for PlayStation.
That's fucking bullshit.
That's
like,
what
no, I don't mean it's not true. I just mean that's ridiculous. That's a dumb thing.
I really think what they're going to do is that they've tested the waters slightly, and I think they're going to get, if it's not Phil, I think they're going to get further pushed to try something. And I think Hellblade and Starfield will be the 2 games that they send over to either finalize we're not doing this or finalize we are going to do this.
If they do those 2 games, in my opinion, they might as well not have an Xbox. Honestly, that's just my opinion. Like a console. It's ridiculous, man. Those kind of games, you are doing more damage to your platform than the money you gain from having them on other platforms. I get the live service stuff, but those single player games, nah, man. They've got to be your big carrots that want that.
Hey, Paris. No, I agree, Paris. And honestly, I actually don't think it's real. I think it's just stirring the pot. I think he's just trying to be relevant. I just think it's stirring the pot. There is no evidence of this. There is no... put it this way. How can he know about this and no one from IGN, Eurogamer, The Verge, who absolutely wants the destruction of Xbox, not have an inkling or a whiff of this happening? Now, that may be a bit presumptuous of me to say in terms of destruction, but nothing coming from that media side ever is positive when it comes to Xbox. So how can those people who literally prey on any bad news for Xbox to post it 75 times a day have no information on this, but my dude has 4 separate sources? It doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense, at least to me. And even then, if someone tells you something in confidence, don't say a word. And if you are going to say something, it's clearly because you want to be the first there to get the engagement, right? Of course, we've got the sexy, bald man here. But it's just stupid. But let's continue listening to what he has to say.
You try to get people to come into your ecosystem for. I just think that it's so frustrating. They were so close to finally being there, to finally realize the potential of the platform, and then It's disappointing, man. Anyway.
And I think that's the biggest takeaway that I will take from this video, or this clip to be exact, is that the reason why a lot of Xbox fans are upset mainly is because they believed they finally were back in the race. With the acquisition of ABK, with the acquisition of ZeniMax, everything was falling into place. And so they believed that now Microsoft would take the gloves off, go full frontal, and, go on the offensive. And instead, they did the complete opposite. They've gone full defensive, which makes no sense. What was your question, Rabbi? Let me have a quick look before I continue. Do you agree? Exclusives, in my opinion, are a good thing for a console, and they should stay on the console. PC is a bit of a weird area, I'll give it that, but exclusives, in my opinion, are good only if utilized correctly. If they're not utilized correctly, then there's no point in the exclusive. And by utilized correctly, I mean pushing the hardware to its limits, making the most out of the hardware. So like someone like Coalition, I expect to be pushing Gear 6 to its absolute limit. They are amazing when it comes to utilizing Unreal Engine and absorbing every ounce of capability from a console. Gears 5 being the only exception because they played it ultra safe with that one. But they're really good with that sort of thing. So when it comes to exclusives, that's what I expect. I expect the highest possible standard because it is being tailor-made to your platform. And if it's not utilizing your hardware to the full potential, what's the point of it being exclusive? You're just getting a half-assed, mediocre game that's could be great in the end, but it's not as good as it can be.
Yeah, look, it is disappointing. I've had plenty of time to sit with it and get right with it. So, and the what I came to is that, I'm always going to be Xbox, and that's fine. And, that port may never see the light of day and things may change.
Okay, there you go. Right there. Right there. Did you hear that, chat? I'm going to rewind it for you. And this is why I got really annoyed with this. See, if he stuck to his guns, I would have said okay. But he didn't. Listen.
With it and get right with it. So, and the what I came to is that, I'm always going to be Xbox, and that's fine. And, that port may never see the light of day and things may change.
That's right there. Rabbi, more games will be going to multi-platform. But AAA games, I do not believe will be going. But some, smaller games will be going, depending on how successful these 4 are. If the 4 games that have gone over to other platforms are super successful and they make a ton of money, you're going to be seeing other small games going as well. So, like, if they make Crash Bandicoot, it's going to go. But if they make a Starfield 2, it's not going to go. But that right there, what he said. But it may never happen. Sea of Thieves has been very... I mean, I actually started following the trends of most pre-orders. It was only for a day. The other games the following day, MLB took over. The following day, Erdtree took over. Surprisingly, Rise of Ronin never took over. But it just... The way that PlayStation Store works, it's on a daily basis. It's not overall, which is weird because you can't really gauge anything from that information. Honestly, that information is useless. All it's telling you is that on one day, it was really popular. But I think the biggest takeaway from this outside of the fact that he instantly gave himself a get out of jail free card. Because that's what he done, right? He basically said, hey guys, Hellblade 2 confirmed, but it might not happen. Hellblade 2 is confirmed, guys, but it might not happen. Starfield is confirmed, guys, but it might not happen. Gears 8 is confirmed, guys, but it might not happen. Did you know that there's a new Halo in development? That's actually a fact. There is. And it's coming to PlayStation, but it might not happen. Do you see how dumb this sounds? Do you see how stupid this actually sounds? If you're going to come out with that sort of a statement, stand behind your point. Don't immediately back it up with, but wait, there's more. It might not happen. It's like, what? It's like, hey, thank you, Quackers, for that 99p super sticker. But it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point? I don't get it. If you're going to come out with this sort of a comment, why are you immediately going back and saying, but it might not happen, and all of this might be a waste of time, and we might be talking about this for nothing? So if that's the case, why even say anything? But one thing that Arthur said that is true in chat that I noticed, one thing that he did say that all of this is doing is adding, distrust to the brand. And when someone doesn't trust the brand, they don't care for the brand. They don't invest in that brand. If you lose faith and trust in a brand, you just don't do anything. Right? And that's all this is doing. And the worst part is, we're doing it to ourselves. We're doing it to ourselves. Now, someone came around and told me, right? Oh, so I guess the actually, it was Peter. He said the Sea of Thieves and the Hi-Fi Rush was fake too, right? Did anyone... This is a genuine question to the 50 people in the chat. And if you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button, folks. We're trying to get to 7,000 subs. We're going the wrong way at the moment, but maybe you can help me get it going the right way. So smash that red button. Support the channel. But, how many of you genuinely believed that Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush wasn't coming? And for those of you that were in the chat when I said, once it was revealed on Twitter, and I said, right, I can actually talk about this now. Powerboss was actually in the chat as well at the time. How many of you actually believed me when I said it's happening? Or how many of you, even before then, believed that those two games were going? I trust Xbox and PlayStation will take my money. They would have known it was... Because at the time I said I didn't want to talk about it, and I wasn't going to talk about it until it was revealed, because I wasn't going to betray my sources, right? People that tell me stuff in confidence, I'm not just going to come out and say stuff. Because it's not fair. It's not fair on the people that are, trusting their confidence in me. Hey, Snowy. Like, I've been told stuff about the PS5 Pro. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know how many people know about it. I'm not going to incriminate people about it. once more information starts coming out, then I'll talk about it. But that's just not me. I'm not gonna go and screw people over. But I knew, it was obvious that Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush was going. There was just too much going on for it not to be real. And with the information that I was told from before by people who know people in Bethesda, that much I pretty much had confirmed 100%. Right? And then there was like other stuff that actually backed it up, like Power was saying, the chart that from the FTC trial, everything just worked. So people using that as a gotcha moment, it's not the gotcha moment people think it is. It really isn't. Devastator, I have no idea on the price. That's the God honest truth. I don't know the price. But that's also all you're going to get out of me. But, all this is doing is just hurting the Xbox brand. And when you've got your own community turned against you this much, this tells you one thing and one thing only. What does this tell you, chat? What does this actually tell you in the grand scheme of things with Microsoft seeing all of this happening? Because they see all this news, right? They've got a social team there that's pretty much soaking all this in, passing all this information over, giving reports to the people that need to see it, and that's then getting condensed into the important parts and summarized to Phil. So, how do you think all this information is being portrayed? Based there, 100%, there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that. But it's a little bit bigger than that. It's a little bit bigger than that. How is this all being portrayed? Jamala, you love me being insane. I want upcoming announced games to be announced for Xbox Game Pass or PC Game Pass, not PC or other platforms, and see how well Xbox exclusive does. Power Boss, the only way that is going to happen is third-party exclusives. And that is something I want to talk about, not just yet, because there was a CNBC video about PlayStation and its domination of the games industry. It's a really good video because they have dominated it for the past decade, more or less. It's a really good watch. It's half an hour long, so it's too long for the stream. But you should definitely go find it and watch it. Ben, you're right. That's it. They don't care. And do you know why they don't care? There's a reason why they don't care. There's a reason why they don't care. Let me see if I can do something. But there's a reason why they don't care. And the reason why they don't care is because the social media space makes up maybe 5% of the player base. Of that 25 million, 27 million, 30 million consoles sold, it makes 5%. They're happy to write that 5% off. Because the other 95% are happy with the direction they're going, and that other 95% couldn't give two shits. It sucks that they're thinking, for us. But the more we go against them and try to, how can I say, I'm not saying to not air your opinion. Everyone should be airing their views. It's why we have a platform. You should be talking about it. You should be saying stuff about it. No matter how big or small you are. You should be saying how this makes you feel as a customer. Because at the end of the day, you as a consumer make sure that they still have a job. Or that that platform even exists. But make no illusion that social media antics, the console wars, and all of this stuff, it's literally just a band-aid, and they genuinely don't care. You know, when they look at people like Tim and the way he's flown off the edge, I'm pretty sure all they're worried about is his mental health. And the other half of the people that are looking at him are laughing at him that a grown-ass man has gone off the deep end in that way. And they're doing the same thing to Peter. They're doing the same thing to Crap. They just don't care. Those people mean nothing to him. If they're spreading that much negativity, they're not even in the position to even spend money on their platform. So they're like, what do I care about them? Right? And that's the harsh truth of it. I mean, if you was a business, if you was Microsoft, on your right-hand side, you've got a 95% player base who is happy playing games and doesn't care about all of this stuff. On the left-hand side, you've got the 5% who are throwing an absolute stink and trying to ruin your day. Who would you focus on? The 95% or the 5%? Now, I believe exclusives should exist. Pure and simple. They should exist. Because, to me, they define your console. They define your platform. It's just the way it is, right? If I think God of War, I think PlayStation. If I think Crash Bandicoot, I used to think PlayStation. Now I think Xbox and PlayStation. If I think Mario, I think Nintendo. If I think Halo, I go Xbox. You need brand recognition. And certain games are brand recognition, right? And it's what propels your platform. But let's finish this and then we can get into the third-party stuff in a sec.
But knowing that that port exists, and knowing that a Starfield port exists, it's pretty concerning, which is why
I mean, Phil Spencer actively said that Starfield is not in development. How can it exist? So at this point, what's the point of Phil Spencer even coming out and saying anything? Like, why? What's the point? If you're going to come out and say, well, you're lying, what's the point? If you're literally going to say that he's lying at everything he says, what's the point? Oh, Ed, come here. You don't have to come in front of the camera. Just stand here. I'll put this over here so people can hear. So, you don't like PlayStation, right? You play some PlayStation games on your PC, but you don't like PlayStation. Yeah. You need to speak up because they can't hear. Okay. And you're primarily a PC and an Xbox gamer. Yeah. Okay. Did you hear about the latest? Halo, the new Gears, it's going to PlayStation, but it's coming to Xbox Game Pass. How does that make you feel? Really?
I mean, it makes me feel like we won, though.
The
PlayStation fans got desperate. They need the games from Xbox, no?
Is that how you feel?
I mean, that's what it seems like to me.
So what about... did you hear that, chat? I'm not making any face things to him. This isn't rehearsed. This isn't nothing. There's nothing rehearsed here, by the way. I literally just Discorded him to come downstairs because I wanted to have a chat with him. I didn't tell you anything, right? Eddie, you had no idea about this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you don't care that they're getting Hi-Fi Rush?
Not really. It just seems like they needed the game, so there you go.
So it doesn't bother you at all? Are you gonna lose sleep over it? Are you gonna like cry in your bed like some Xbox fans are doing?
No.
Is it gonna ruin your day?
No.
Are you gonna go and start like drinking alcohol and ruin your life because, you know, a game got ported to another platform?
No.
Do you even give a shit?
Not really.
So you don't care at all?
No.
All you care about is the game being on Game Pass so you can play it on your PC or Xbox.
I mean, yeah, it's just a game. What's the big deal?
So you don't care if Starfield goes to the Switch or whatever?
Not really. It's a game.
So what would have to happen for you to care?
I don't know.
So you just don't care. You just want a game.
I mean, yeah.
That's literally your primary objective.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
No. I'm just asking because I'm chat is listening, and you know, I wanted to give a perspective of a normie, someone who's not into all of that console war stuff. Because I know you are really into that console war stuff, right? So, and your view is you just don't care.
Yeah, if they want the game, whatever.
But what about PlayStation not giving games to Xbox?
I mean, that's a bit unfair, but
It still doesn't bother you?
I mean, that, like I said, it's a bit unfair, but I mean, it's Sony. What can I say?
Okay. What does Oreo think about all the games that are going to PlayStation? Hey, Sanchez Gaming. Alright, dude. Thanks a lot. Chaos, I think VidLink Harmon's salty about Elden Ring DLC. Oh, that is good. Thank you for that super chat and Supporter Plus membership, Sanchez, and Devastator. I think that's all the things I read. So, he's a complete normie, right? My son is as normie as they come. And that is the average view of a gamer. He basically said he doesn't care if the games go to other platforms as long as he gets it on Game Pass. Because he's paying for his subscription, and as long as he gets the games, he couldn't care less if it goes anywhere else as long as he gets it day one on the platform. He's not going to cry himself to sleep. He's not going to go into, he's not going to become an alcoholic and drink. He's not going to have a meltdown about it. It's just a video game. It is not Norman. It's Erjan. My younger son is a big Nintendo fan. He almost rivals Harmon Smith. My older son just went to GameStop the other day to return his PlayStation 5. But, he said, I said, what about PlayStation not putting games? And he said, well, that's a bit unfair, but it's Sony. What do you expect from Sony? That's literally how they are. Show us your cat Oreo, Chaos. Good Lord. Let's see. He's been a bit funny today. Let me see if... can you come and show Oreo to the camera? Alright. I've passed on the message to see if he'll come. Now, someone in the chat said that, the more people playing, the better. That's true. But it does have an impact on the Xbox consumer. See, my son isn't old enough to put 2 and 2 together. So for him, it doesn't matter. And that's the people that Microsoft's banking on. But if they port too many games over and they don't keep anything exclusive, anything that's, tied to the console to give it a USP, third-party support diminishes. It's really that simple. And that's the impact that will happen to Xbox. So it's really important that they maintain that. Oh, here he is. Here he is.
I don't know what I'm saying, but
Come here. Come here. What is he? Oh, my shoulder.
why are
Come
you
here.
being moody?
Chat, can you see him?
Why are you so moody?
Oh, he's run off.
Wait, he was fine before I came out there.
No.
It's okay, we'll catch him in the camera.
He's been like that all day today. I don't know what's wrong with him. The moment we pick him up, he starts just meowing in that way. He just wants to be left alone. Maybe he's in season or something. I guess he ain't getting enough. But, yeah. You heard him, right? He's just standing there looking outside the window. The moment we pick him up, he's not usually like that, but today he's been very, thing to the touch. The Spider-Man DLC, this multiplayer, that's probably going to be the DLC that gets attached with Spider-Man 3.
Have not been like, there's a lot of people, and look, there's going to be a lot of people that go like, oh, you're full of shit. And that's fine. But I know what I know. Like other people, and look, there's going to be a lot of people that go like, oh, you're full of shit. And that's
the reason why they're saying you're full of shit is because you turned around and said 30 seconds after saying it's coming, but it might not happen. That's why people are saying you're full of shit. It's not that people don't want to go on the notion that what you're saying could be true. It's the fact that you came out with this bombshell and then 5 seconds later you turn around and say, but it might not happen.
It's fine. But I know what I know. And and I obviously operate with the knowledge. You operate differently with the knowledge that you have, right? So we've seen a lot of people in the last, since the podcast going, it's only 4. Well, it's not only 4 for me. For me, it's 6, and 2 of them are huge. And I'm not sure how the community will react to that. And look, to be honest with you, I'm only saying it today because, we've got the intimate chat happening. We don't have mass amounts of people in, and it probably won't even get out. So
you see that? See, like everything about this just screams attention, right? Literally everything about this. Oh, I'm only saying it today because there's not a lot of people watching, so it's not like anyone's going to clip this and put it onto the internet. I mean, chat, there's only 50 people in this chat today. I mean, I started late, so I deserve that. But there's only 50 people in chat today, and all 50 of them should be subscribed by now, right, chat? But I'm going to say something stupid like Starfield 2 is confirmed for the Switch 2. It's not like this is going to get clipped and put out anywhere because we're just having a nice conversation between us, right, chat? It's not that he should know better, Arthur. It's all calculated. The whole thing is calculated. The whole thing was designed to cause drama, to cause disruption. Because these people are upset of the direction Microsoft is going. And they are wanting to create drama and create discourse and to create annoyance for Microsoft to try and get them to change their mind. They're trying to create the outcry that they did before to try and pull Microsoft's arm. That's it. I promise I won't clip anything. I mean, come on. Who's not going to clip something that said something like that?
But I definitely wanted to talk about it.
Oreo.
So if that's the case, right, it didn't make sense to send the first 4, if that's the case, though. Because you would send your biggest, your best and your brightest and see how they do. And I still don't think that they'll do well. I just don't think that the games that Xbox have appeal to that audience. And I do think they're different audiences. I do think there's a bit of crossover. I think there's they're different audiences, and
I mean, it's a fact. Like, the more and more I look into the two communities, we are vastly different. PlayStation gamers like their Final Fantasies, their JRPGs, their waifus, their story, cinematics, slow dad walking simulators. Xbox gamers like their bro games. They love their co-op games and their multiplayer games and their FPS games and their shooter games. The two sides are vastly different. If you factor into the middle, that's when you kind of need to get both consoles. What did Josh say? Is today the day we finally roast Power Boss? I think so. I think so, Josh. I think so. Devastator, I have 2 cats. What is his view, or is it going down so he needs attention? He says negative things because it works, just like the game journalists. They write negative things so people can click on it. Moonlight, I think that's it. I think he's just trying to keep that negativity train going to try to show Microsoft that what they're doing, in his opinion, is wrong. And, no one is delusional that it's going to stop at 4 if they do well. They're still going to push smaller games. Yeah, I'm definitely in the middle, but don't have a PS5. Mark, you have a PC question? Go for it, my dude. Send you something on Discord. It could be true. Alright, let's finish. This is finished anyway. So, I don't know. I just think this was really dumb. Oh, what's this? I would, Adidas. I've actually been meaning to reach out to C Money from the last time I was on it. Well, I'm in their show almost every other day that they stream. But is Adidas even still here? I'm talking for the sake of it. I'm talking for the sake of it. Is Adidas even still here? Oh god, he clips me. Starfield 2 coming to Switch. Don't do something stupid like that. I was making an example. What are you doing? But all this is doing, all this negativity is doing, right, is this. You're getting more people switching over to PC. And this is what Microsoft would love, right? This is what Microsoft want. Microsoft want people to switch over to a PC. And that's a good PC, by the way. That's a really nice PC. I can't see what graphics card that is, though. I know it's a GeForce, but I can't see if it's a full... I mean, it looks big enough to be a 4090. They're backing their sponsorships, helping them grow, building themselves up, and people pushing their pockets. He built a fan base and people trust him, but now he's manipulating them and making him think that what's happening. He's doing the same thing to politics. Basically. And Ben, who cares? Like, what benefit to you, visually, is that game between 60 and 120? I guarantee you won't see a difference. I guarantee you will not see a difference. So what does it matter? Bragging rights? Who cares? No one's playing the game. You're all capping for a game that no one gives 2 fucks about. You're all jerking off to Pentiment when no one is completing it. No one is playing it. I mean, if he was jerking off to a game that actually worked, I can understand, but who cares about Pentiment? I'm not dissing the developers or anything, but no one played it. And no one's buying it on PlayStation either. It's not doing, like, it's not even going to sell 500,000 units. Like, this is the sort of petty shit that I don't get. Now, if you turned around and said, hey, look, Sea of Thieves finally getting anti-cheat when all these years it was on Xbox, I say, fuck yeah, you're correct. That's a fucking insult to Xbox fans. That's a massive slap in the face. I'd agree with you on that one. But Pentiment? Come on. Right? Not Pentiment, man. Don't come with Pentiment. Oreo. Look. My dude, I'm giving you treats. Oreo. Wow, literally, he doesn't even want treats. Jesus. No, Pentiment is actually a good story. It's not a bad game. It's just people won't play it because of the way it looks. I'm slowly making my way through on my Steam Deck, playing through xCloud, but it's not a game that's gonna win awards or, you know, wow people. It's just almost a visual novel. Again, they've already came out and said that what they put in for the PlayStation version was supposed to be there on the Xbox, and it just didn't work. It was a bug. But again, who cares? Have you bought it Have you bought the digital or physical copy of Pentiment, Ben? Have you bought it? Oh, you posted your question? Sorry. Did you buy it? I'm really curious if you actually bought it. If a game has a setting for DLSS and FSR, are we supposed to pick one or the other, or are we supposed to enable both at the same time? DLSS is for NVIDIA graphics cards, FSR is for AMD graphics cards. So you pick the one that works for you. FSR can work with NVIDIA graphics cards, but it's not, designed for it. You can enable it, and if they've added some support for NVIDIA graphics cards to utilize that protocol, then it will utilize it a little bit. But DLSS is NVIDIA. So if you have a GeForce graphics card, you will use DLSS. If you have an AMD graphics card, you will use FSR. That's it. My graphics card is NVIDIA, so you will use DLSS. Our back mate's gonna do laundry real quick. No worries at all, Mark. Oreo! Look! Oh, here you go. Yeah. Are you for real? Look. Come here. Man, he is one lazy cat. Look, there's more treats. I'm trying to trick him to come here. Wait. Look. Here you go. Nope, stop. Nope, he's going over. He won't even eat the treats. I don't know what's wrong with him. Usually he's a proper clamor for treats. Oreo, here you go. No, he's not even eating the treats. I have no idea what's wrong with him. You don't know what Oreo is, Quackers? It's a biscuit. or even digital, I don't see it as a negative thing. But this is what's happening, and I think this is bad. But, you know, since we're talking about Pentiment, patch 1.3 is out for Pentiment. And there's a fix for high contrast accessibility option, not rendering correctly. I didn't even notice that, but then again, I don't use it. 120 FPS is enabled. Yay! I'm never going to use it. Updated icons. Oh, look! They didn't even have the correct icons on PS4 and 5. Man, that version must have been trash without those updated icons. Jesus. That must have been absolutely trashed with them not being able to have those the correct icons on. They even had, you know, incorrect trophy names. God, they didn't even have controller graphics properly displayed. Man, they did a poor effort on PlayStation. I guess the only thing that they did right was at 120 FPS mode that no one cared for a game in that fashion. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, and yet no one in chat cares. Look at it. Are you even a third-party studio treating Xbox fans like a third wheel? There's more PlayStation bugs here than there is a Xbox issue. One Xbox issue, 3 PlayStation issues. The Xbox issue doesn't even matter. But like I said, the one with Sea of Thieves, that's a slap in the face. That one I do have a problem with. Because Xbox gamers have supported that game through thick and thin when it was absolutely shit. And then the game becomes good. And even throughout all that time, you don't incorporate an anti-cheat. And then Rare decides that after the game is good and going to PlayStation, that it's going to be... Now they're going to do anti-cheat. Now that is a slap in the face. They could. They just didn't care for it. The game didn't need it. At the end of the day, this was a very low budget game. And I guess while they were porting it over to PlayStation, they decided, well, while we're doing this, because you know how game development works, right? I mean, I'm assuming you have some tech background. When you're building a game, you have sprints. And when you've got those sprints, you have stuff that you need to do for the MVP and stuff that you'd like to have. Eventually, when you get to the point, because every game has a budget, right? As it goes along the cycle, certain things get pushed to the backlog, where if they have time, they will go back and do it as least priority. Now, when they started porting over the PlayStation 1, those nice-to-haves are now stuff that they can actually pull out and start to implement, because they can put it within the budget that they have of porting the other game. Because if they have a budget of, say, £50, and it costs £30 to build the port of Pentiment, that gives them an extra 20 quid where they can do what they want. And they will use that. And that's when they dip into the the backlog of issues, the nice-to-haves, and then they start porting them over. That's pretty much how it works. Devastator, I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm actually concerned. He's been very moody today. But Ben, I agree with you. The Sea of Thieves one, 100%. That's a bitch move. And I even tweeted out to, not that they care about my tweets, but I even tweeted out to Rare, and I said, this is absolutely disgraceful behavior to your Xbox fans, who have been crying for over a year for an anti-cheat, and you couldn't give two shits. And then the moment it gets ported over to PlayStation, you're now investing in anti-cheat. That's bollocks. So I think the moral here is when it actually matters, you'll hear me complaining. When it doesn't matter, I just don't care. Bonaya? Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't want treats. My cat's usually Garfield. He'll eat like 9 times a day. So, the fuck's this? King David is, now I can play all them exclusives how I like. Man, what the hell did he do to his Steam Deck? Dude, that looks like it's just been through some construction site, man. What is he doing? Chiseling on that screen? I've only played about 2, maybe 3 hours of it, Mark. Believe it or not, it's my type of game. I like it. I just never had the time to fully invest in it. Man, there is so many games that I want to play. And you know what? Once I move, when I'm not going to be online, I'm going to have a lot of time to blitz through a lot of games. What, the Steam Deck? Actually, believe it or not, it's not. I actually thought the same, Susano. It's actually not. It actually feels really good. And do you know what's the best thing about the Steam Deck that the Asus ROG Ally doesn't have? The absolute best thing are these trackpads. These are the best things that this doesn't have because they're your mouse. Like when I'm playing FPS games on the Steam Deck, I use this. I don't use this. Analog is awkward for FPS. I use this. This is pretty much a mouse. Anywhere I point, like I move around on the screen, it's just there. 16 is a good game. People don't like it. 15 is good too. But 15 got butchered in terms of story. And then they never actually finished the DLCs because it just didn't sell enough. So they cancelled the project. So, like, I actually want to get an Asus ROG Ally because, for those of you that don't know, I think this Saturday or Sunday I'm going to be doing Steam port reviews. Just giving some games and giving the best settings to get the best performance. And, you know, if it needs a Proton to run it, which Proton to run, etc. So I'm going to start doing that on the Steam Deck. I want to do it on the Asus ROG Ally as well, but I can't afford to pick one up right now. But eventually I will, and I'll be doing them in tandem together. So I hope you look forward to that content. I'm trying to add a bit more diverse content to the channel, so hopefully you'll like that. But this was a nice segue into advertising for that and why you should absolutely subscribe so you don't miss that and hit that bell so you stay up to date with all content I release. Am I doing that right, chat? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? What do you think of this? Final Fantasy 16 is coming to PC this year. It's very, very close. But Font said, I have a 4090 and a Series X, and I can tell you, while some of the textures may look a bit sharper on the PC at max settings, the Series X isn't far off at all. Do you think this game on the Series X can compete with a 4090? Do you think it can? I think that's some cope, right? Look, I'm like you guys, right? I like my Xbox, and I love the diehardness of some people. But when you're trying to say that a Ford Escort is going up against a Ferrari, and it can almost win. Fonzarelli. This kind of stood out for me. I was like, right, buddy, we need to talk about your 4090 because I think it might just be I mean, come on, that looks horrible. I mean, okay, it's a YouTube compression, I'll give it that, but that still looks horrible. They're not nowhere near 3090s, dude. Oh, right. They came out when 3090. Yeah. You know, from what I've seen, the PS5 and the Series X are akin to like 2070 graphics cards. Maybe 2080. All this talk that they're 3070s is rubbish. But again, this is where tailor-made games push the boundaries. Yeah, 2070. And let's face it, you know, I think in a year's time, games on the PS5 are going to be running at 640p at this point. With the way they're going, anyway. They really need that PS5 Pro just to be able to maintain 1080p. I'll pick up a 4090 when the 5 series comes out. Maybe. I mean, my 3090 right now runs everything ultra. I don't care. Everything I throw at it, it runs. 2060, let's go. So this is good. This is news, right? I thought this was big news. I'm really excited to see what Empty Vessel can do. Did you guys hear about this? You know the staff that got laid off by Activision and Naughty Dog? They've come together to make AAA studio, Empty Vessel. I thought the 4090 gave more frames, but the 4K resolution would still look the same. No. Xbox and PS5 generally can't do native 4K. I think there's very few games where they can do native 4K running at 60 FPS. I think the new Prince of Persia game is one of them, but you know that's not graphically demanding. Whereas a 4090 can brute force that, but I just prefer a 2K resolution. That's what my monitor is anyway, so I don't have a choice. But I think this could be interesting. I don't know who they're going to be developing for. If they partner with PlayStation like Deviation Games did, they will end up living up to that name. Empty Vessel. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh, that was cold. That was cold, man. No way, man. No way. That's brutal. That's brutal, man. Oh shit, that's brutal. I would claim to be a double A studio, or even use not even use the title at all. I hope they don't start off deviating and working with PlayStation. It doesn't look like they've announced what they're doing yet. Disney wants to buy Sony? That would be interesting. I mean, the older games would maybe run, but I don't know. The nerve of that person, so don't take care of this stuff and you post it on the internet like if you have a PC, you take care of that shit. If you have a concert, take care of... what's going on? What did I miss? Now, if Disney took over everything, Kratos would become My Little Mermaid. You know, Nathan Drake will probably be someone from Frozen. No, this is the ones that have already been left. Not more. These have already created stuff. But something that did come good this week was the unionization of, was it 600 QA staff from Activision? I think that's really awesome. I think that's really, really good. As someone who used to work in the video games industry and worked in QA, I can tell you not much has changed in terms of QA treatment. QA is literally bottom of the barrel. No one gives a shit. Treated like shit. Paid the worst. Treated like garbage. And thrown away the moment they're not needed. They normally don't have permanent contracts. They're all, like, in the UK, everyone that I know that's working in different gaming companies, they're all on 0-hour contracts, which is disgusting, because it's just really bad. 0-hour contracts are the absolute worst. Because if you're on a 0-hour contract, see, here in the UK, I don't know how it is in the US, but if you become unemployed here in the UK, the government looks after you. They pay for your rent, until you can get back on your feet. They put some money into your pocket. Not a lot, but enough to keep you fed. And they house you, right? They make sure, unless you've got money, and then they tell you to fuck off. But if you're on a 0-hour contract, you're still employed. So you can't go to the government for aid because you're still technically employed, but you're getting 0 hours, which means you're getting 0 pay. This is the type of corporate shit that happens in the games industry that you don't really hear people talking about a lot. This is the sort of stuff that I want the journalists, the publications and stuff to talk about. Because these 0-hour contracts are disgusting. It's total abuse. But you don't hear anyone talking about it because no one cares. They only care about the layoffs because it makes headline news. Microsoft lays off 1,900 people. Sony lays off 900 people. But the real issues, the core issues, where people work 15 hours a day, 18 hours a day, or are on 0-hour contracts, where their management tells them that if you take a day off, or if you don't do overtime, like I've been told, you will not be guaranteed your next 3-month contract. That's what I was told day one. If you refuse overtime, you are not guaranteed your extension of your contract. And your contract was every 3 months. Right? When they say, hey, are you available on the weekend? They're not asking you. They're just being polite. They're telling you that you're going to work on the weekend. And if you have any plans to go out with your family, fuck them. It doesn't matter. You're coming into the office. And, this is the type of stuff that the media should be tackling and exposing. But none of that makes headline news. So the shit treatment that especially QA gets. And people wonder why games come out broken. People don't, the standard of QA is trash. Well, if they wasn't cycling out and getting rid of the good people every 3 months, maybe you'd actually have a good QA team there that could actually do their job. I was doing work for them, but not a part of their company. Yeah, that's the contracting, right? I mean, it's one of the reasons I actually left the games industry. Like sitting down and watching CCTV cameras for my local government paid me more. Where I worked in the last games in the games industry, this was back in like about 10, 15 years ago, I was being paid 11 grand. Right? As a contractor. Well, it wasn't even a contract, it was just a 3-by-month contract. But they were paying 11,000. And if you did overtime, the overtime essentially paid for your tax. That was it. And you didn't have a choice. It's these are the things that the journalists should be tackling. But they don't. And it's so stupid. It's not the terms are so bad. It's because QA just wasn't respected. People didn't see QA as a big thing because all they saw was, hey, all they're coming to do is play a video game. But QA is a difficult job. And for those people that actually enjoy what they do as QA and take it seriously, it's a big deal. Like this past week, I had an issue at work. And the developer I was working with was going crazy, right? And don't get me wrong, QA in the digital agencies, like in the digital network, they pay good money. Really good money. Like they pay 4 or 5 times the amount the games industry does. That's why you see, people in the digital sphere have much better QA. You got like much better websites, much better mobile apps, because they just pay so much more. But the games industry, they pay you peanuts. They don't even care about you. But like there was an issue I had with a certain function. And it took about 6 days for us to fix it. And I was badgering on. The developer wanted to knock me out. That's how annoyed he was getting. Because it was working for him, but not for me. And in the end, I figured out that it's not that it was a front-end issue. It was a back-end issue. And the file that I was sending to him in full size was actually getting resized by our parent company's email platform. And so by the time it got to him, the file size that I sent to him was being resized down to a manageable size for the email Outlook, which we didn't realize at the time. So what was working for him wasn't working for me because mine was a raw file. And it turns out, though the front end was accepting the file because it was correct, the back end was actually reporting, had a different file size limit. But no one realized that this happened because we had like a change in systems from one platform to the next. And somewhere along the line, that didn't get changed. And so it took us like 4 or 5 days, 6 days to figure it out. But the average person would have just said, fuck it. I'm going to give it back to the project manager and let them decide whether they want to do it or not. On the other hand, I wasn't prepared to do that. Because I really do like my job. I do enjoy QA as tedious and things it can be at times. That's literally what I like to do. And so when you find people like that who really do enjoy their job, you keep them, but not in the games industry. In the games industry, they just tell them to piss off as soon as their contract is done. Are you off, Power Boss? Have a good night, dude. No, basically, as it was going through our network and then filtering through the email system, the company email, it was being resized before it came to Outlook. So the CDN itself was resizing it. And we didn't realize that the company CDN was resizing the images as it was going along. And so what was like, 3.5 meg for me was going through to him at 500 KB. You guys want to watch Herman? Herman Derman? Shifuo Yoshida already said they cancel only games. They only cancel games. It's their hobby. Let's have a look. I will roast him. Because if it is what I think it is, he's going to deserve it.
The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a year old, and it's being talked about more than the upcoming Elden Ring DLC. The Elden Ring DLC actually got overshadowed.
Wait, who's talking about Zelda? Who's talking about Zelda right now? I haven't heard a single person mention Tears of the Kingdom once in probably about 6 months, outside of him. So, what's he on about?
By Tifa's titties in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? You know, Tifa's titties got more views on YouTube than the Elden Ring DLC did. And
To be fair, there were some damn good titties, even though, you know, I shouldn't be saying that because she's underage. But still, titties are always going to get more views.
And don't try and deny it. Don't try and like say, well, actually, the Elden Ring trailer was reacted to several times by.
Actually, I probably shouldn't say that because he might take his top off and start showing his titties, and then my analysis will be completely wrong. Keep your fucking shirt on.
YouTubers that nobody cares, but nobody cares about that. Like nobody cares about the views in general. You know, like I'm not sitting here saying that like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is bigger than Elden Ring or something. You know, my point is that like views on YouTube don't matter at all, right? You know, Tifa's
Views on YouTube don't matter at all. I mean, it matters to the person who's making the money.
titties overshadowed the Elden Ring DLC trailer because Tifa's titties are actually nice to look at. You know, they actually.
Okay, at least he agrees that, you know. Wait. Look, I haven't gotten to that point in the game. Can someone please tell me if Tifa's underage? Because if she's underage in that scene, my dude's a pedophile. In that beach scene, is she underage? Yes or no? So at the beach scene, she's fine. Okay. So it's not like the one he said in the previous game where he was oogling over a 15-year-old. My dude was drooling over a 15-year-old girl.
Actually look like they belong. They could be in real life, right? It looks like you can almost like reach out and touch them on the screen. Like if you just go out and buy some 3D glasses.
My dude has never been with a woman, right? He has never been with a girl. I mean, because no one would ever talk like that in real life if they had ever been remotely close to a woman that's not their mum. And at this point, I'm pretty much fearing for his mum as well.
From Sony, like you're going to be able to see those puppies just like jiggling in your face, right? Like, again, that is a cope, you know, like that's never actually going to happen. But at the same time, you know, there's a reason that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was so popular when it was first shown off. They
The fuck was that? The fuck was that?
popular when it was first shown off. They jiggle.
Let's see that in an instant replay.
Was first shown off. They jiggled those puppies in your face, right? And it's with Elden Ring, it's like the same kind of thing, right? Where like people say like, oh, it's Elden Ring, oh, From Slop, oh, they put out the best games ever made. Oh, I don't even play anything else, but I just know From Slop makes the best. And like you look at the trailer and you're just kind of like, oh, it's more of the same. Okay. Well, I guess I'm still excited. I guess. I bet Harmon Smith is seething. I bet Harmon Smith is upset about the Elden Ring trailer.
Mate, literally no one gives a shit what you think. Literally.
Meanwhile, I'm like sitting
I mean, literally everyone is watching this just to make fun of you.
here talking about like Tifa's titties, right? Like I'm sitting here talking about Unicorn Overlord and Princess Peach Showtime. Like I did not give a shit about the Elden Ring DLC. And the reason for that being is that it wasn't relevant, right? This is the interesting thing about Elden Ring, is that I do think the majority of the audience only bought it out of hype. You know, they only bought it because it was the new big thing. It was like being backed by George R.R. Martin. It had a major ad campaign behind it. Like, you know, there was this major.
No, I can agree with that point. I know a lot of people just bought it out of hype to see what it was like. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to like it because I don't like Souls games, and I still bought it just to see what it was like. But it was alright, because my son, the one that was here earlier, he made like 9 characters and completed it 9 times with 9 different builds. He got my money's worth.
Major like shill campaign behind the Elden Ring, right? You know, people were legit stoked for it. And then it came out, it was disappointing.
But at the same time, I also think Zelda's shit, so you know, don't tell any Nintendo fan that, because they will hunt me down. But I actually think Zelda's boring as fuck. I don't see what people like about that game. I genuinely think it's insanely boring. I think Genshin Impact is a far superior game than that ever could be. It just has more going for it. It has more to do, more waifus, and just a better gameplay system.
You know,
I was going to stick the waifus in there, Steve. Don't judge me.
That was it. It wasn't my kind of game, but whatever. And you know, a lot of those people never even beat it. And like I ask you, like, how many people who did not beat Elden Ring are going to go out and play the DLC? No one, right? You know, the DLC. How many people who did not beat Elden Ring are going to go out and play the DLC?
I am. Well, I'm not playing it. I'm going to buy it for my son so I can make content and put it on YouTube.
One, right?
It's called pure child labor, but I am totally going to market that like there's no tomorrow. And you all better be watching that content.
You know, the DLC for Elden Ring, from Slop games have traditionally been very well received, but they don't necessarily like bring in a new player base, right? Because they're like essentially made for people who, the kind of person who like does everything else in the base game, which is a very small niche portion of the gaming population, right? Like nobody is going to go through all of
I am good enough to play Souls-like games. I just choose not to embarrass people with my skills. That's what it's about. You don't know the skills that I have. You've seen my driving in Forza Horizon 5. They are legendary. That's just a taste of my skills.
the Elden Ring DLC if they haven't actually beaten the game. Like, why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. It's a complete waste of money. It's a complete waste of time. There's no reason to like buy the expansion if you never even finish the base game. And I think it's safe to say that the majority member of the something like 90% of the gaming audience who bought into the Elden Ring hype, probably more like 95 if we're being generous, like 95% of the gaming population, like
actually
they never finished the game. You know, they never beat the first boss. They never figured out what they were.
By the way, which is the first boss that has those two weapons that you're on like a bridge and it jumps at you? Is that the first boss? He kind of does huge leaps, jumps down, smashes down with his sword, like has a wicked range when he does his swipe. Oh, we can definitely check that one out. Does anyone remember that boss? You know what I should do, chat? Yeah, Morgoth. That's the one. I beat him. It took like 4 days, but I still beat him. Yeah. See? Most people can't even beat him, and he's the hardest boss in the game.
Were supposed to do. They never got into the game, and as a result of that, they're not.
Are you
going
kidding
to be
me, Cesaro?
interested.
You telling me
in
I suffered
the
4
DLC.
days and you can
what has
skip
that
that
led
boss?
to, right? People got bored of Elden Ring, and they went over to Zelda. And people realized that, like, wow, Zelda is a lot more fun, right? You can do a lot more stuff. Like, there's this cool building. There are these like cool areas to explore. Like, it has a better plot. You know, more interesting characters, mechanics. Whoa, I can fly around in circles around a mountain and like fight a giant dragon. You know, like, Tears of the Kingdom is infinitely better than Elden Ring. And the only reason.
Why is he comparing Elden Ring to Zelda? That's like comparing Forza Horizon to Halo. I don't get it. Like, that's my first problem with this video. Why is he comparing the two? I mean, at least Elden Ring has a plot. Zelda doesn't even have that. So, like, I mean, if he compared Zelda to Genshin, I can totally get that, right? Like, why? But they're not even in the same genre. Why is he comparing two games that are so different in nature that it doesn't make sense? Benaya, I don't know about that, but I know Spider-Man is an RPG. Reforged said so. And if Reforged says it's an RPG, it's an RPG.
Reason you would ever think otherwise is if you hadn't played Tears of the Kingdom, right? That was kind of the gist of it, right? But over the past year, you know, as people like slowly started accepting that Tears of the Kingdom was a great game, like people are slowly beginning to talk about like how great it was. You know, its amazing moments, the Master Sword pull, the dive at the end, like this and that, and just like all these phenomenal things that.
I mean, Kong is actually an RPG based on Reforge's criteria. If it has a skill tree, it's an RPG. So Kong is an RPG.
Just made Tears of the Kingdom what it is, right? Like there's so much about Tears of the Kingdom, though, which I would argue makes it like one of the best games ever made, right? Just like Breath of the Wild before it. But right now we're in this like weird phase of like
I don't know.
Of denial from like the Pretendos and like the FromSoft fanboys is that they don't want to admit it's true, right? They don't want to admit that like Dark Souls isn't appealing to everyone, and that it's kind of a niche thing. They kind of do this thing where like they assume that you're not into Dark Souls, that you just haven't been initiated yet, that you've just been like filtered, that you just don't know how to play the game or whatever. No, like I've played through Dark Souls. I don't enjoy it, right? Like that's the reality. Like that kind of thing is like sacrilegious to them. Like admitting that you've beaten Dark Souls and then just going like, yeah, I didn't enjoy it. Like that is like the craziest thing they can possibly hear, right? Like to them, like Dark Souls is like the only game you should play, right? And the reality is that if you ever actually like go outside that bubble, if you play games like Ys or Zelda or like anything, like you're gonna find like a treasure trove of better games out there.
I mean, clearly all he's saying is he doesn't like Elden Ring Souls-like games. You take that back, Steve, or I'm going to bombard you with waifu Gears pictures like you've never had them before. And even if you try to block me, I'll create multiple accounts until you can get bored of blocking me.
It's
Hell, I will petition to Phil myself to make sure that the next Gears has a bikini wandering Kate.
shocking how desperate the FromSoft fans are to try to keep Elden Ring relevant in 2024, right? it's one of those situations where you're just kind of
Hey,
like
Brick.
feeling bad for them because they gaslit themselves into thinking this was like one of the best games of 2022. They gaslit themselves into thinking this was one of the best games ever made. Like they legit thought this was going to beat out Zelda. This is going to be more popular than Tears of the Kingdom, but it's not. It isn't. You know, it never will be. And that fact becomes more and more obvious with each passing year.
I mean, let's face it. I think Zelda Tears of the Kingdom sold 30 million copies. Not many games are going to sell that many copies, right? So, or was it Breath of the Wild that sold 30 million? Either way, you know, Tears of the Kingdom was extremely popular. But they are two different games. It doesn't make sense comparing them.
Right. Not only are people talking about like Tears of the Kingdom, they're talking about older Zelda games, right? Like people are getting into like the Oracle games and like Ocarina. We're in that age now where people who grew up with Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are trying to tell us that those games were like misunderstood masterpieces and that like.
Okay, let's. Ocarina of Time, that was a masterpiece. I'll give him that one. Ocarina of Time was a masterpiece. Xbox Quackers, have a good one, my friend. Take it easy, my dude.
The new ones have lost the series identity, right? Like,
Unfortunately, I don't know what an early night is, Xbox Quackers, because my landlord is such a fucking shitlord. I have to be up every 2 hours to empty buckets of water because my boiler's leaking. So maybe one day I'll know what an early night is. But have a good night, dude.
like we're in that era now. Like we're in that phase where like the people who grew up with those games are like trying to attack the old ones, just like how the old audience used to attack Ocarina and like the new wave of games, right? Like history repeats itself in this regard. But I think this time we hardcore fans like understand, like people who have been around the block a few times, like we know how to handle.
You take that back, Mahayanist. You take that back. You take that back right now.
This stuff, right? Like we know like these guys are just fanboys who are blinded by nostalgia, who don't really understand Zelda, not really. Right? They're fans, there's no denying it, but at the same time, like there are lots of good Zelda games out there. And disparaging Zelda to try and prop something else up is it's never going to work out for you or for like anyone else. It's you're going to have to compete with like the most successful fantasy video game franchise ever, and that just
Is he talking about Final Fantasy now?
isn't going to happen. Witcher 3 couldn't do it, Dark Cloud couldn't do it, like Skyrim couldn't do it, right?
Skyrim has 60 million units sold. It sold more units as a single game, more than Breath of Wild and Tears of the Kingdom combined. What are you on about? Literally, Skyrim are the kings of re-releases. I'm expecting another re-release this year of like the ultimate legendary Supergalifragilisticexpialidocious edition.
You really believe that Elden Ring is going to be more relevant than Zelda 20 years from now?
Yeah, that picture there sums it up.
No, it's not gonna happen. It's already been dead, buried, and forgotten, right? Just
Who's forgotten about Skyrim? I still see people talking about Skyrim. Hell, I see more people talking about Skyrim today than I do of Mario Odyssey and Zelda combined. Who's talking about Mario Odyssey? Who's talking about Zelda Tears of Kingdom? Hell, who's talking about Metroid Dread? That game came and died instantly. I don't even know why.
Just like Game of Thrones, just like George R. R. Martin, just like Dark Souls. The first flame is finally dying out on your irrelevant video game development studio.
You, my friend, are a bellend. Before we get into the next video, because this one should be interesting. What does everyone think of Season 2? What does everyone think of Season 2 of Halo? So Season 1, in my opinion, was messy. No, I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm not going to give any plot details at all. But there was one episode in Season 1 that I think still stands above everything else. And for those of you that are going to watch it, when you see that episode, you will know exactly which one I'm on about. Because it will make you go, fuck yeah, this is what I'm talking about. But there was only one episode in Season 1 that made you do that. But Season 2 started off really good. But, the last 2 episodes have been really dry. I'm not going to go into any spoilers. I don't want to do any of that. But, yeah, I just thought, they started off really strong. And they lost momentum, in my opinion. Maybe they're building up to the last 2 episodes, but this one, the last 2 episodes wasn't it for me. Devastator with a $5. Chaos Elden Ring was at 23 million in Feb. DLC will most likely make that go into 30 million. It will probably push it higher than that. You underestimate how big the cult following for Souls-like games are. I want to see what's going to happen when what is it? Where is it? Is it? No, it's not there. I want to see what's going to happen when this happens. Tilu Part 2 is coming to PC. Ragnarok is coming to PC. Demon Souls. When that comes to PC, holy shit. That's going to be insane. Ghost of Tsushima. Gran Turismo 7. They're going to be crazy. Gran Turismo 7 is an obvious one because of the VR being ported over to PC now. Ghost of Tsushima is already announced. Tilu Part 2 is apparently not far off coming to PC. So that was a no-brainer as well. But Demon Souls is going to be interesting to see how the PC community react to that one. Playing the definitive version on PC. Because all of these, the definitive version to play PlayStation games, will be on PC as well. Demon Souls is 30 FPS if I'm not mistaken on PlayStation 5. It will be 60 on PC. God of War Ragnarok will be 4K 60. Tilu will be 4K 60. Like all of these, with the PS5 DualSense, will be, the definitive way to play all of these PlayStation games will be on PC. It's weird, right? Just like all games, the definitive way to play them is on PC. It's like, doesn't sound right. Even though it's real. Oh, it's
Genshin Impact is complete.
This dodo. Harmon will lose it when Elden Ring passes. It will. It will.
Complete garbage. It is overrated, and anybody that is still defending it, playing it, and or hyping it in the year 2024, you're not a real gamer. Yes, it's easy gaming. Yes, I'm here to spit the facts. Yes, I'm here to bring the truth. And yes, I am here to save gaming. I have been asked dozens of times, probably 100 times within the past week alone. Easy. Genshin Impact stream when? Easy.
He hasn't even... He's got his audio off sync. Has anyone noticed?
When are we getting the Genshin Impact review? Easy. When are we playing Genshin Impact? When are we doing this? Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. This game is soulless. This game is as corporatized and sterile and...
Look, what is it with Nintendo fans? Like, seriously, what is it with Nintendo fans? Every Nintendo fan seems to be a weirdo. Like, no offense to anyone in chat that is a Nintendo fan, but they're a weirdo. There is nothing wrong, Benaya, with Genshin Impact. It has a good story. No, I disagree. It's got a better story than Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
And just garbage as it gets. And no, this is not bait. No, this is not satire. No, this is not troll. This is not hate baiting or rage baiting. No, it's not. It's funny. It's funny because it is funny. When I say my thoughts, when I tell people the game is trash, 2 out of 10, this game sucks, it is garbage, not a masterpiece, overrated, overhyped, do not buy. When I do my due diligence as a real gaming journalist, and let's be real, I'm the only gaming journalist left on the platform. Let's be real. I can't be bought.
He's the only gaming journalist left on the platform, boys. And girls, if you're still here. He's the only gaming journalist. Is it? Oh, fuck's sake.
I can't be bribed. I simply can't be. I have thousands. I get people reaching out to me. Oh, please try my game. Please try my game. Here's your offer. Here's your offer. Here's how much we'll pay you. Here's the script. And I'm like, whoa, hang on. I am in the trenches. I am doing real investigative journalism because at the end of the day, I stand for you. I stand for real gamers. I'm going to save you time. I'm going to save you money. I'm going to save you, most of all, I'm going to save you your soul. I'm going to save you from headache and heartbreak, from wasting your time on this garbage, repetitive, bad shovelware that is Genshin Impact. This game is just another Breath of the Wild clone. And imagine cloning.
And the problem is, it's a better game. It's a better game. It's still played today while your game is not. It has more viewers on Twitch. It has more content on YouTube than your game. And it is still more highly beloved, more drama-filled than your game. It makes $90 million a month. A month. That's money that you can only dream of for Breath of the Wild. Okay, $90 million is ridiculous a month, but it still makes $90 million.
Breath of the Wild, like that. I'll get to that in a minute. Breath of the Wild also sucks and it's overrated trash as well, but we're talking about Genshin right now. Genshin Impact is just a knockoff, a discount version, a dollar store version, if you will, of Breath of the Wild, which is again highly overrated, kind of trash. I'll get there. Could you imagine unironically telling could you imagine being an adult, right?
Devastator. I play Genshin still. I mean, I took like a 1.5 year break, but I've recently gone back to it. And I'm enjoying it. Very slowly, mind you, but I'm enjoying what little I get to play.
Especially if you're a man. I play Genshin. Yeah, I play Genshin. Yeah, I'm running Genshin later. Yeah, you guys want to get on Genshin? You want to get on Genshin? You want to get on Impact? Want to get on Impact?
I mean, you can't. It's a single-player game. Who would talk about playing multiplayer on a single-player game? This guy is full retard. I don't say that lightly. I usually only reserve that term to people that, actually, there's no defending any type of thought process or any type of logic. This guy is a full-on retard. How do you turn around to your mates and go, hey guys, I'm playing a single-player game, right? But I'll see you tonight on that same game, yeah? We're going to be playing multiplayer on a single-player game. You get me? You get me? Later, waifu Gears lover Steve. It is an Xbox channel. Well, kind of.
You sending out your little Discord pings to all your friends, which are mainly just bots and or AI, and or they're people who just, you guys play a game together once every 3 months, so they're your they're your friends of some sort. I'm not sure what that means to you, but imagine unironically praising and bootlicking and defending a series that is as sterile, uninspired, unartistic, uninnovative, and just unflinchingly such a soulless cash grab. Like, I played for no more than 2 hours, and I was like, this is disgusting, this open world is boring, it is repetitive, it is the same open world that you've seen in games like in Elden Ring. It's the same.
Wow. Oh, wow. Hey guys, I played an RPG for half an hour and the beginning was so slow and crap I couldn't be bothered to play anymore. It must be a crap game if the first 20 minutes is rubbish.
Open world that you saw in Halo Infinite. It's the same open world you've seen in Far Cry. It's the same
My dude is attacking Halo Infinite as well. Oh shit.
open world you've seen in Assassin's Creed. It's the same open world you've seen in Dark Souls. It's the same open world you've seen in GTA 5. It's the
Oh shit. This dude is saying Breath of the Wild has a better open world than GTA.
same exact open world you've seen in Witcher 3. You've seen the green grass. You've seen the rocks and trees. You've seen the little rivers. It's the same exact environments. Copy, pasted, ad nauseum.
Why does he keep punching his table? What has his table done to him?
Until I felt unwell. I was medically unwell from what this garbage impact, from what it did to me. That is what this game did to me, what it did to my soul, what it did to my... This game really was like the final straw for me, and I was like, this game broke me. Like,
I don't even think you can get past the tutorial stage in 2 hours. You don't even get to Zavalin in 2 hours, right? Because you have to make your way to Mondstadt. You got all of that drama in Mondstadt. Then you kind of go along outside. You meet up with, I think, Venti for the first time. He runs off. Then you do a bit more stuff. You do your gliding exam. Then you go back and then you get that whole scene with, I forgot her name. She's dead in the game now. But she takes the Gnosis from Venti. And then you, about half an hour after that, you get to fight Dvalin for the first time. But this, like, you don't even get anywhere into the game in the first 2 hours. Yeah, you don't, like, the first half an hour, you're just doing nothing. It's on the rails. Like, what's he even talking about? Like, I get not liking Genshin, right? You don't have to like a game. There are people that don't like other games. It's perfectly normal not to like it. But to be actively bullshitting and lying, that's crazy.
No joke. This excuse of a video game, this uninspired piece of unoriginal trash, it broke me. And this is by far, I don't think it's close. But I have dealt with the My Hero Academia fan base. I have dealt with the From Software fan base. I have dealt with the One Piece fan base. I have talked to Bleach fans. I have talked to some of the lowest, just the most bottom of the barrel. I've had arguments with Starfield players. I've had people who still hype up Elden Ring. I mean, I've talked to Armored Core fans. Like, oh my god.
My god, he is gunning everyone.
I have gone I talked to the Call of Duty fanboys. I have spoken with just the highest amount of organisms that you can imagine. Just imagine as many people as you can. I have debated. I have hosted live events. I have hosted official debates, tournaments, played with them, argued with them, calls, servers, live events. Go check out all my events. Go check out all my past live streams. Go check out my videos. I have hosted so many with these brain dead simpletons, these low IQ, these smooth brain possessing, bad taste having organisms that simply cannot think critically.
Hey, Logan.
They cannot think academically. They simply cannot think analytically. But nothing has come even remotely, fractionally close to dealing with Genshin Impact fans.
Okay. He has a point there, right? You do not fuck around with the Genshin fandom. They are crazy. They are the only fans that I would say that are even crazier than Nintendo fans. I am doing well, thanks, Logan. How are you? Why is Helldivers so hyped up? The game is not great. John, if you're playing it solo, the game is a 1 out of 10. If you're playing it in multiplayer, the game is exponentially fun. And when I say multiplayer, I mean with 3 other friends that actually know what the fuck they're doing. If you're playing with matchmaking, you will have a horrible time. It becomes like a 5 out of 10. So that's my review for Helldivers. Solo, 1 out of 10. Because it's just not even worth playing. Matchmaking, it's about a 5 out of 10. And if you're playing with a group of friends, and you're actually strategizing and playing as a team, then it becomes like a 7, 8 out of 10.
And let me tell you why. They are toxic. They will do horrible things. The amount of cope from Garbage Impact fanboys is disgusting. It's not Breath of the Wild. It's better. It's better. It's better.
I mean, it is better. It is factually better. There is no two ways about this. It is factually better. There is more to do. It's got a much better story. It's got better character development. Arguably, it's got better graphics. It runs 60 FPS. It's got better voice acting. It's got better animations. It's got better side quests. Did I miss anything? Now, I'm not even like bigging up Genshin because I think Genshin has a hell of a lot of problems. But if we're talking about the 2 games, in almost a slam dunk, Genshin is a better game.
It didn't copy. It just has the same enemies and the same world design and the same level design and the same animations and the same attacks. All because it's just looking like some generic anime-looking art style, and that's why you people just can't stop. You're
John, I really liked it. I'm looking forward to it.
You people disgust me. You're beneath me, and I try not to do this too often, but if you're a Garbage Impact fan, if you're like an unironic player and you actually defend this disgusting business practice and this soulless copy-pasted cash grab, if you genuinely like sit there and that's the hill you're going to die on, I question your morals. I question your ethics. I question what you are at the end of the day, because I couldn't imagine this being your goat. Garbage like this, but it really ripped off of Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild is one of the most, let me be clear, one of the most overrated pieces of garbage of all time. I mean, it is disrespectful to gaming, it is disrespectful to the open world genre, it is disrespectful to Skyrim, which it literally stole from multiple times.
Wait, what's going on here? Now Breath of the Wild is a piece of crap garbage? But he just said Breath of the Wild is a garbage game. It's an overrated piece of garbage. I am so confused.
And most of all, it's disrespectful to the Legend of Zelda franchise. Legend of Zelda used to have back-to-back bangers 10 or 15 plus years ago. I mean, we had masterpieces, Link to the Past, Wind Waker, we had Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess. Hell, even, I'll give it to Skyward Sword. It gets a lot of flack, but I think Skyward Sword is like top 3 Zelda games. I mean, it is, the sheer quality is just through the roof. It's consistent. It's got a great consistent quality, a great runtime, no padding, just straight to just core Legend of Zelda, dungeons, puzzles, and items. Boom. Exploration, adventure. That's what you get. But with Breath of the Wild, you got the same repetitive, copy, pasted environments. Oh, see that over there? You can walk for 15 minutes straight, and you can go climb that mountain. And I'm like, wow, kind of like what I did in Skyrim, what, 5-6 years earlier? And to do what? And fight what? The same 10 enemy types ad nauseum? Do 120 puzzles and dungeon and shrines?
This guy definitely does not want to play the new Suicide Squad. He does not want to play the new Suicide Squad.
And don't even get me started on the dungeons in Breath of the Wild. God, Breath of the Wild sucks. But at the end of the day, Breath of the Wild may suck completely, and Zelda fanboys are completely intolerable and just mind-blowingly unintelligent and just you're just like little organisms. You're little ants running around, and I'm just like trying to step on it. I'm trying to get rid of spraying all the... Yeah, I'm trying to, trying to clean gaming up. I'm trying to take gaming back. But Breath of the Wild sucks. Genshin Impact sucks even more. And if you hype this game, you defend this game, and you're a fan of this game, I suggest you leave the channel. Don't even bother trying to leave a comment. I've been deleting a lot of comments, been removing people that try to disagree with me, when most of the time it's not even biased. It's not even emotions. It's not feelings. What I do here at Easy Gaming, and what I do with my journalism, my investigations, I give you the facts. I give you the unfiltered version. I give you the unbiased version. Because
no, you don't. You just chat shit. Devastator 2000 with the $5 super chat. Chaos, you forgot when Final Fantasy Base either threatened to or did put a Yakuza hit on Square for changing a scene in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh no, I remember that. But dude, you have not seen the drama that unfolded over the past month to 6 weeks in the Genshin community. Mate, I haven't seen a more rabid community than the Genshin community. That is one that is just weird. John wanted me to have a look at a Dreamcast guy video, but send it over, Devastator. There was something I wanted to talk about today, before we got sidetracked with the videos. And so, send them to me via Discord, and I will have a look. What is this? I've noticed, Taz, I've been trying to fix them all week. And then I just don't know what's wrong with it. I'm going to have to remake it. But what was it that I wanted? Let me just look at my list of topics that I wanted to cover today. There was a couple things that I did want to cover. God damn it, Snowy. I've just read what you wrote in Discord. That made me laugh. Alright. So there was one topic that I wanted to talk about because there was, we were segueing into it and then we kind of drifted off. And it was when we were talking about the whole Risk It situation with the Rumours. Power Boss mentioned about how games need to be exclusive on the Xbox platform. They need to take their games off Steam and, try pushing Xbox as an exclusive ecosystem platform. As long as it exists on PC, even through Game Pass, I just don't see that making a difference. All that's going to do, Power, is essentially just say, right, we're going to either wait or they're going to play it through Game Pass on PC. Now, that's going to push Game Pass sales, but it's not going to push console sales because you're still giving them another avenue. And maybe that's okay for on the grand scheme of things for Xbox, but as a console user, that's not helping you at all. People buying Game Pass on PC is not helping you in any way, shape, or form as an Xbox console user. Now, one of the things that I was looking into this weekend, actually, while I decided to have my binging session with Chicago Fire, PD, and Med. If anyone watches those, big up. I love that series. It's really good. And if you're from Chicago as well, is that area really that bad? But anyway, back on topic. PlayStation 1 had no first-party games. Had none. They built their whole platform on third-party exclusives. Now, if you look at who they were competing with at the time, they were competing with Sega, who had their Sega Saturn. They had their first-party exclusives with Sonic and other games, right? It didn't really help Sega. Then you went to the PS2 era and you had the Dreamcast. It didn't really help Sega then either. Although Sega had other problems with the Dreamcast, the main one being that EA decided to boycott them. But this kind of, segues into my point. At the end of the day, Sony really knuckled down on third-party exclusives. Be it the Metal Gear, be it the Zone of the Enders, be it the Final Fantasy. It just had all those third-party exclusives. Then came Xbox, and it kind of disrupted the system a little bit. It sold, 20 million units? The Xbox One OG? And that was deemed a really big success during an era where Sony was so strong. Then came the 360 era with the PS3, and Microsoft decided, we're going to do what Sony did. And we are just going to go and get third-party exclusives, third-party marketing deals. They had, exclusive 6 weeks for Call of Duty maps. Sure, that sucked. But it doesn't suck as much as what Sony does with their 1-year exclusive deals. Right? Like with Destiny. And now they do it with COD with their 1-year game modes. So pushing that third party is where it's at. You go to the Xbox One and PS4 era. Again, Sony had their first party exclusives. So did Xbox. Well, I don't think they had much going on during the Xbox One era. But they didn't even have any third-party exclusives. It was all on PlayStation. And something that Jim Ryan said in that CNBC documentary, was that though they have their first-party exclusives and they define PlayStation, what's actually defined PlayStation from PS1 to PS5 is their third-party relationships. Because they are the ones that made the console what it is today. Sony can pump out maybe 1-3 first-party games a year, maybe, if that. But their third-party games are coming through the troves. I mean, this year you've got a strong lineup with Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy Remake, Rise of the Ronin, Foam Stars. Okay, that was a joke. But you get the point I'm making. They might not appeal to you, and that is perfectly okay. But what Microsoft needs to do, if they want to push the console, is start getting those third-party deals that are only on Xbox. They don't have to be on Game Pass. They probably won't be on Game Pass. But they're going to be big titles that they're going to have on there, and that's the only way they're going to push the console. That's the only way that they're going to start selling consoles. Because Game Pass, no matter how it exists for first-party games, will always be on there, and they're not making sales. So if they're not increasing the subscription, they're going to eventually start to lose out. And as long as that subscription is on PC as well, whether you like it or not, people have an avenue to play those games on a PC, so they don't need to buy an Xbox. That is why you have people like this, who said, it's finally done, I'm really happy how it turned out. More of my Xbox brothers are also building top-end PCs. Because this does what my Xbox can do, but just better. Now, there are games on the Xbox, and this is the selling point. that only are on Game Pass console. And that's where, but those games need to be highlighted more. Those games need to be pushed out more, advertised more. Now, I know for a fact that Microsoft has pulled back their marketing a lot over the last 2 years. Where I work, we used to do a lot of their marketing. And they cut all marketing, the budget entirely. So they just don't value marketing anymore. So what they need to do right now, essentially, is start... If they value the console and they want to push the console, they need to start going to these third-party companies and start getting the contracts. They've got 2 consoles coming along, right? Apparently there's a third one in there as well. I suspect the first one is a full-fat console. They need to release that console, right? Because cloud isn't ready. Microsoft is banking all their eggs into cloud. Whether you're seeing how cloud is right now and it's doing shit, that's all fine right now. Because right now there's too much headache jumping into that field with Ubisoft, the CMA, the regulators, the whole 10-year contracts. It's a minefield that they just don't want to deal with right now. And because of that minefield and the headache and the regulations that are there, they're just not bothering. But they are doing something that we all know about that is actually, it's telling you where it's going. They are turning around and telling you, if these games are on Game Pass, not all games are going to be on the cloud. But if you buy the game digitally, it will be available and unlocked on the cloud. Now think about that for a second. So if a game is on Game Pass, let's say Starfield, I'm going to use that as an example. We know it's available on the cloud, but let's just say hypothetically it's not. But if you buy it digitally, not physical, but digitally, it unlocks cloud mode for you so you can play it on the cloud as well. It incentivizes you to go out and buy your games. And this will probably apply to third-party games as well. And they're trying to push sales because they need to start bringing sales back into the Xbox ecosystem because people aren't buying the games, right? But if they want to start pushing the console forward, they need to start getting those third-party deals. It's the only way. Now, people are saying, well, Microsoft isn't coming out of the games industry. And I get it. They've announced a console and a handheld. Now, let's look at that and let's break that down for a second. Why are they releasing a console? What's the reason for them releasing a console? Because they want to stay in the console market? Is that what it is? That's a question to you lot. Is that what you genuinely believe is the answer? Should I tell you what the answer is? I know what the answer is. Nope, Arthur, that's not it. Nope, Mahayanist, that's not it either. I can tell you what it is. It's really simple. I'm assuming there's a good number in here in the US. How's your internet in the US? How's your internet? Is it unlimited? Do you have unlimited internet with no data caps? Can you download 5 terabytes of data and not be charged for it? You're data capped, right? Where's Rogdal? Zrog. I agree with what you said about the USA internet infrastructure. They can't put all their eggs into the cloud basking. Yeah, exactly. There is a cap for your download in the US. Because of that cap, they cannot not release a console. They have to. Because if they went just to the cloud on its own, the data usage alone would kill the Xbox brand in the US. Simple as that. Because, unlike in the UK, where we have unmetered internet, I can download 30 terabytes if I want to. There is a fair use policy there. and they'll probably ask me what it is. But in the UK, all my data allowance on my ISP, if I watch Netflix, it doesn't count. If I play video games, it doesn't count. If I stream YouTube, it doesn't count. It only counts for file size downloads. You know, like those big data files, like sketch files that I download for work that are like 400 meg or 500 meg each one. They add up, right? But even that is unmetered. There's just a fair use in there that they say, hey, well, don't overdo it. Don't be stupid and download 1 million terabytes. So in the UK, they could get away with it. But in the US, they can't. So that is why a console is coming. Because they're not ready for that push to cloud yet in the US. That's why the console is existing. That is my personal opinion. The handheld, that's a smart play. Because that is pushing into where they want to be. Because eventually PlayStation and Sony are going to have a handheld, and that's going to be the console. Microsoft is already seeing, you know, you've got the Steam Deck, which is really popular, the Asus ROG, the Switch 2 will be popular. You've got more companies, MSI coming with it. Ioneer has been doing it for a while. Microsoft is already seeing how popular that industry is. So they're jumping into it with the next generation. Now, if they just do it with a native Xbox on its own, I don't know how successful that's going to be. I think it has to be a hybrid with an Xbox OS, so you can play those Game Pass games that are from the Xbox console, right, version, downloaded onto your hardware, that aren't available on PC. But you also need access to the PC library as well, so you can play PC versions of those games. So it kind of needs to be this hybrid Windows, Xbox OS kind of platform. And at that point, it will be the best handheld to buy in terms of PC hardware, in terms of a handheld console. And they will be at the forefront because it will give you literally native best of both worlds. But it has to be a hybrid. If it's just a PC handheld, it's a waste of money for them to develop because it's, you know, it's the same thing as everything else out there. If it's an Xbox console on its own, you're going to be running games at 30 FPS. You know, there's no avoiding that. Now, there's the talk of it being cloud-powered as well, which we've discovered and, you know, discussed in the past. That is a possibility, but that is really goddamn expensive. The more I've looked into that, the less I think is going to happen. And, you know, it's nothing new. That technology is available and has been available for years, but it's really expensive and finicky to work. It's, you know, I don't think the technology is there just yet in order to make it seamless with the data transfer, because the bandwidth that's going to come from that is going to be huge, right? And again, which country out there doesn't have it between the UK and the US? Unlimited cap? The US. So it's not going to work. Therefore, the handheld has to be a hybrid. That's the only way that's going to work. And then if they incorporate what Steam has incorporated with the Steam Deck. So if you've downloaded the game for your PC, you can literally stream it, you know, transfer the files from your PC wirelessly to your Steam Deck and have it installed. That's the type of connection that the Series console, handheld console, is going to need with the Xbox. But that is why the Xbox console has to exist. If America had an untapped wireless, you know, internet, no cap, I would really question if it's going to be there. Now, Phil repeatedly says that Xbox is at the core of their platform, yet makes every decision that we see that makes you makes you question what he's saying. So, in my opinion, this is where we're at right now. And if Phil really wants Xbox to be at the center of the platform and to be here for another 2 or 3 generations, especially for the next generation console, he needs to have third-party exclusive deals signed up to push that console day one. And really, he should start with them now for games that should be coming at least towards the end of the life cycle to show people that Microsoft mean business and they are in this to stay at least for the foreseeable future, until cloud becomes a viability globally for the players. Because Microsoft's overall plan is cloud. And after they get their contract back from Ubisoft, once their 10 years are up, Microsoft, if their plan actually works, and it probably will because they're not stupid, they will be the only platform out there with the biggest cloud player base available. And their games, if you want to play Call of Duty, if you want to play Halo, if you want to play Starfield, you sign up to that Xbox cloud service. It's not going to be on Ubisoft's cloud service. It's not going to be on PlayStation's cloud service. It's not going to be on Steam's cloud service. It's not going to be on anyone's cloud service. All of those game studios that they're buying is going to be on the Microsoft cloud service. And that's going to be the only place you can play it. This is the end game. It's just going to take 10, 15 years to get there. That's what I wanted to say. Now, let's read some of the chat, because I went off on a monologue that probably bored some of you to death. You don't need 1 gigabyte for cloud? You don't, but it does help with the latency. Fair point, Chaos. I don't have a cap that I know of, but I'm in a fairly progressive town. Go 10 miles away and the internet sucks. Dude, I've been looking, like, the 4 or 5 properties in the UK that I've looked at, all the internet is uncapped, right? But my God, it looks like this property that I live in is the only one with a fiber internet. It's crazy. I cannot find anything with fiber internet in the UK. It's really annoying. Chaos, did you hear about the news that PCSX2 teams are working with Sony to work on PS1, PS2? Yes, I did, Mark. I did. I wanted to talk about that because I think that's awesome. Hybrid device, hybrid handheld, that would work. Yeah, the handheld will only work if it's a hybrid. And their new games aren't selling, so naturally they're going to reach into the game vault and pull out their old stuff. I know mobile space isn't ready for cloud yet, not with gaming. Yeah, I mean, we're not there yet, Cesano, but we will be. In the next 10 years, Microsoft is banking that we will be there. So for the time being, they're just trying to buy their time. But if they want to actually give the Xbox a real shot at exclusivity, the easiest way to do that is third-party deals. First-party games are going to PC. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. Right? It's just a thing. Taking them off Steam now just isn't worth it. Because they're still available on PC. On Game Pass. So why not double dip and just capitalize off those Steam-loving people? That's it. I mean, that's the way they're seeing it now. But the third-party games, this is how Sony built their empire. And they are still doing that this year, right? And you will see at least another 4 or 5 third-party exclusives when they have their magical showcase, the top secret showcase at Pornhub. When they have that, you're going to see them actually come out with more third-party exclusives. But this is what Xbox needs to be doing. Whether you like Silent Hill or not is irrelevant. It's got a good following. Silent Hill was one of those games that is cherished. Can you imagine if Elden Ring, when it came out, was an Xbox exclusive? That would have sold shit ton of consoles. It just would. Well, that's debatable because no one expected that success. But you get the point I'm making. You want a big third-party game like that that's exclusive to Xbox and Xbox only. It doesn't go anywhere else because that's how you sell your console. Telecommunications have different regulations and policies at play than home internet does. Yep. Sony and Microsoft understand that backwards compatibility and retro games are money Nintendo has yet to learn. Kylene Hitzman, thank you for that sub. Chat, if you haven't yet subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel or returning, we do daily content, streams, And we'll be doing other content as well along the way, as I'm trying to diversify a little in terms of just broaden the horizon of the content I do, sticking with the whole Xbox PC theme. But yeah, I am trying to hit 7,000 subs. It has gotten a little slow, so we are trying to push it up a little bit. So help me help you. Second party deals don't hit the same like it did in 1997. Square is figuring it out right now. It is. But that's Square Enix's problem, not Sony's problem. Sony paid for it, Sony got it, and they sold a bunch of consoles because of it. The number of people on X that I saw saying, you know what, I finally had to bite the bullet and buy a PlayStation 5 so I can play Remake. During the first week, I saw tons of people saying that. And that's just the people that are on social media that are publicly coming out and saying it. There's tons of people that also went out and just bought one to play those games. That's the point I'm making. It doesn't matter what happens to Square Enix and what upsetness they have. They made that contract with Square, with Sony. As far as Sony's concerned, they're getting the game and it's going out. Sony doesn't care what Square Enix says or does or what. That's a decision for Square Enix later on if they want to make the third game exclusive or push out all the games onto multiple platform, or the next Final Fantasy if they want to make it exclusive again or non-exclusive and release it multi-plat. That's a Square Enix thing. But if they sign that contract again with Sony, all Sony cares is that they've secured another title away from other platforms, giving people a reason to buy their console ahead of someone else. And this is where Microsoft needs to get better. During the 360 days, they were king at this. They were so good. You know, with the whole Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, Splinter Cell, they had that shit lock and key. What happened? What happened to those third-party exclusives? Why are you paying so much? How many lines and what kind of... If I was going to fanboy, it'd be for Xbox because of that alone. I'm sick of being asked to pay for the same game over and over again. I think that is one thing that Microsoft does really well. You know, you buy it once and you play anywhere. I think that's actually a really good feature. And guess what? From the rumors that I've heard, Sony is about to do the same thing with their PlayStation launcher. If you buy the game on the PS launcher or the PS5, you get cross-eligibility because they want you playing the game on their platform, on their ecosystem. They're also going the same way. It's just a much slower process, but they are really pushing PC now. Once that launcher arrives, I can tell you that the games that will launch on the PlayStation launcher will be on the PlayStation launcher for PC players to buy for 6 months to a year exclusive. And then it's going to go to Steam. That's what Xbox should have done. Xbox just doesn't have the balls to do it. Peter Moore was ruthless as hell. And, you know, that's what Microsoft right now needs, a Peter Moore style of leader. The Xbox brand needs a Peter Moore-like leader. I think it will be longer than 3 months, Arthur. I think it will be 6 months at least. Because it's still going to be available on PC. That's the point. Sony is going to want people to buy it on their platform and not give them a small window to wait so they can get it on Steam. Now, they're going to want to make it long enough so people will say, well, I'm not going to wait, and buy it. And people will buy it. But Microsoft didn't give that option. They just said day and date is going to Steam. Done. And no matter what anyone tells me, you know, and this is the thing, the one thing I want to say that people keep going by. Phil Spencer said, and I want to put this out there, right? Phil Spencer said that wherever Game Pass is, ZeniMax games will be there. Right? He made that statement. And this is something that a lot of Xbox fans have been calling him out on repeatedly. Game Pass is not on Steam. So why the fuck is no one complaining about that? It's on PC. It's on the Xbox Game Pass launcher. It is not on Steam. So why is every Xbox fan okay with it going to a platform that's not on Game Pass, that's PC, but is not okay with it going to another platform that is not on Game Pass? Why the double standards? So this is my problem. I think a game, if it's going to be in the ecosystem, should be in the ecosystem. It should be locked into the ecosystem to give people a reason to buy Game Pass, to give people a reason to buy it on PC, Microsoft Store, to give people a reason to go buy an Xbox. But the moment you start pushing it out like they already have outside of the ecosystem, why aren't people complaining about that? Do you understand what I'm saying? I've got nothing against Steam. I think Steam is a great platform. They have, a really good launcher. But the principle itself is my issue. I see a lot of Xbox fans moaning about the fact that, they promised that this wasn't going to happen and now it's on PlayStation, but it's fucking on Steam. And that's not Game Pass. So why aren't you crying there? You saw this from years ago. It's happened. Where was your crying and whining then? And this is the problem I have with like Tim Dog and Peter Ovo. Right? And Crap Gamer. They were perfectly okay for it to go to anywhere else. They didn't give a shit. But they should have been crying back then. And they didn't. That's right, Brick. That's right. It might suck. It doesn't matter. If you don't give people a choice, and that is the only way that they can play the PC games for Xbox, they either go for a year without playing it, or they sign up to Game Pass and play it, or they go and buy it from the store. Even if they signed up for 2 months just to play the game, to download it onto their platform and then delete it, and when it comes out on Steam, they rebuy it on Steam, who cares? That's an extra 2 months of subscription that they've got. It doesn't matter. And I still don't understand why people say that the launcher sucks. You click on a game, it downloads, you click on a game, you buy it, and then it downloads. Then you click on the game and you hit the play button and it plays. Like, is it the refund policy that people like to abuse on Steam? What is it? What is so bad about the Xbox launcher? I use it all the time. Actually, you're right, Broccoli. You're right. He did. With Quantum... Not Quantum... What? No, I don't want to be talking about Quantum Error. Quantum Break. Yeah, I remember that. Quantum Break. He did. And credit to him. Right? Credit to him. Phil's response was bullshit at the time. But at the time, Game Pass didn't exist. This was the Play Anywhere thing that they did. At the time, Game Pass didn't exist when Crap Gamer made that statement. Crap Gamer made that statement in 2014. Game Pass came about in 2017. So though Crap Gamer did call him out on it, that's fair. But when Game Pass arrived, everyone was championing the game being on Steam Day 1, Game Pass Day 1, Xbox Day 1. Why? And that's fine, Benaya. I wouldn't. Personally, because I want to play my games now. I don't want to play them when they're irrelevant. Because once they're irrelevant, you have less incentive to go back and play them. Especially as more and more games come out, and you're left with less and less time. So if you're not playing those games here and the now, the chances of you playing them in a year's time diminishes greatly because more and more games come out that you want to play as well. That might not make sense now, but when you're hit with that conundrum, it will make perfect sense. No, Benaya, you're wrong. You are 100% wrong. People like to suck Steam's dick. That's the problem. They like to take Steam's cock and shove it down their throat, and that's the only platform that they'll actually go to. It's got nothing to do with the Xbox thing. It's literally, they want to suck Gabe's cock. That's it. It is just a Steam stigma thing. You won't do anything outside of Steam. I'm sorry, that's just the reality of it. What's this? I just hope there's crossplay. Yeah. That's just the reality. But that's how Microsoft will turn around and deal with it. Oh God, not that guy again. John, what was that video you wanted me to look at? Of course, Microsoft did the math. They looked around and said, right, these people love to create a monopoly for Steam. They won't do anything without Steam, so we have no choice but to put it on Steam. But someone with big balls like Sony is going to turn around and say, I don't care. And you watch how people are going to go and buy it day one off the PlayStation launcher. And it's going to be fucking successful. Why? Because they just have bigger balls than Microsoft. That's it. And PC players are going to go buy it. They will. You'll see when that launcher comes out. And if it doesn't, I will eat that L. You can clip this and I will eat that L and I will tell you that I was wrong. And I am willing to take that L. How about that? I mean, you're not going to get fairer than that, right? Clip it, save it as a receipt, and when PlayStation releases their launcher and only releases the games on there, and they sell a bucket load, I want you to come back with that receipt to see if I was right or wrong. What is so bad about it? You're not telling me what's bad about it. All you're saying is it's bad. What do you mean it's buggy? Have you used it at all? See, your mod support is incorrect. So you don't even know. I play Starfield on Xbox launcher, and I mod Starfield. I mod different games on here. It has mod support. The fact that you don't know is a you problem. Right? That's a you problem. That's the fact that, you know, you're not educated in that, in how to mod on PC Game Pass. The difference is one folder. So when you go into the Xbox, to the Game Pass folder, there's a folder called Contents. So you've got the actual Starfield folder, for example, and inside that you've got content. So you don't put it into the Starfield folder, which is the root. You go into the contents because that's the root of the actual folder. You put your mods in there, cha-ching! It works. I use mods on Starfield all the time. I'm adding mods every other day. Well, not every other day, but you get the picture. But this is the problem. People don't know. You know, when Game Pass originally launched, installing games was a mess. But it's not like that anymore. The platform just works. But people don't want to deviate from Steam. And I totally get that. But when PlayStation does it, you'll see how people deviate. And like I said, you can clip that, so it's a thing. John, TheChaosLounge, Sony's essentially trained PC gamers to wait for their games to go to Steam, so I doubt PlayStation Launcher will do well on PC. No, it will. It will. It will. Once it goes day and date on PC through the PlayStation launcher, they will buy it. They will buy it. And it'll be a delayed release onto Steam and Epic. But I don't know if John is still here. But John said that he wanted me to watch a certain video. Steam gets the updates only because there's a early access beta thing on there. The way the Xbox version, for some reason, the launcher works is the same way as the console version. It goes through the same process. That I don't understand why. So sure, you get beta updates quicker if you're subscribed to them. If you're not, then it makes no difference. Yeah, Microsoft and Sony do checks. What Steam? It's a PC launcher. John, you wanted me to watch a specific video. But that is how Microsoft can go about, building up not only their console sales, but their reputation. They need someone like Peter Moore in charge, making those aggressive contract deals to get those exclusives that are only on Xbox and push it out there. Because then that differentiates them between PC and console. And so if you want the ultimate experience, you kind of need a hybrid of both. And do you know what? That makes a perfect segue for the handheld. You see how it all works? You see how it all synergizes in the end? John, you wanted me to watch a DCG video? Was it anything? Persona 3 is great. I don't know why people had a problem with it. It's a good game. I did hear they changed the way you summon your Persona. I still need to play it. Steam is a PC launcher where you can buy your games, yes. But it's its own platform, its own ecosystem. Correct, Jamala. But that's why once they're released on Game Pass, well, on the Xbox launcher, they don't have the problem. There is no problems with them. You know that they've at least had the QA check, the standards check that goes with it. I mean, games still come out broken, mind you, but that's a different issue entirely. It just pulls sales away from the platform, from the Xbox platform. We're talking about how to maximize console sales, and this is how you would do it. But yeah, that is how I feel about that. But I think the hybrid handheld could work. And I think people are underestimating the hybrid handheld. And I really love the Surface team. I know their laptops aren't great, but I love their design. And I'm really excited to see what the hybrid looks like, or what the handheld looks like. That is one thing that I am really, really looking forward to, because I'm a sucker for handhelds. What can I say? I don't know. They're decent laptops. I think the last one I used was Surface 4. And the problem we had at work with it was the aspect ratio of the laptop. It was weird. It was like a 4:3 aspect ratio or a 4:5, something like that. It was just a weird aspect ratio. And all of their Surface 4s were the same. And it just made it almost impossible to build, test anything on there. It was just, trying to get things to appear on there without it looking weird or with letterboxes and stuff. It was an absolute nightmare. It's almost like they designed it for no one to use it. But the design of the Surface laptop, especially the one that could pop off the screen, oh god, chef's kiss. I loved it. That kind of a rail clip it had at the back where it folded over, man, I love the design of the Surface laptop. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to listen to that bell end again for this stream's Devastator. Yeah, that's the point, Urbaniah. And we're a digital agency. We are literally for media consumption. So it really didn't work for us. Chili, how's it going, buddy? Where are you going, Chili? Oh god, someone is smoking cannabis outside my window. Or outside my property. There was an article that I read. I think it was on Yoshi P. But he's looking to make more Final Fantasy games. I really hope he moves away from the single player games. Not because he doesn't make good games, but Final Fantasy XIV suffered for it in Endwalker. I am doing great, Chili. Well, as well as I can be. Chili hasn't seen a man. Yoshida, it's not his thing. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about... I mean, honestly, that makes sense, right? See, 6.1 kind of makes sense. So for those of you that are jumping into Final Fantasy new, Final Fantasy XIV, the actual story arc of Final Fantasy XIV from 1.0 to 6.0, 6.0 ended the 10-year saga. So 6.1 started a whole new storyline. So essentially, whatever transpired between 1.0 and 6.0, it actually ended. Now, the raid that went on from 6.0 kind of was linked to the story of the Endwalker's expansion, but, primarily, it's a whole new storyline. They're going through a whole new thing. So I kind of see why they're doing that. I kind of see why they're doing, giving players the option to start from 6.1. Of course, they're going to monetize it, right? They're going to make you pay for that. Yeah, John, that's the idea. The handheld is going to be I think it should be a hybrid, where it utilizes... No, they are charging for you, Chili. They are charging for it. They've already said. I've read it in an article. And the hybrid would work really, really well. But I don't think I can see where that thing was. I mean, they already charge for level skips and stuff, yeah. But this 6.1 that they announced will just skip everything all the way up to it in one go, I think. So I don't know how much it's going to cost. It's all money. Money, 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 money. Homeworld. That just looks like Wipeout. When's the next Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stream? Not sure yet. I haven't played it since the last stream, but I'm not 100% sure yet. Man, Sweet Baby Inc. is getting absolutely destroyed. God of War is now available DRM free on GOG. Price slashed to $25. Who's going to buy it? It's available DRM free. Amnesia Bunker? Benaya, I will check that out. Yeah, but now you can get it DRM free on GOG. On Steam, it's with DRM. Here, it's DRM free. So you can't even give people DRM free content anymore. Stella Birdie. Stella Blade has shifted up to secure the bag as it plots public shares. I'll tell you what, Ragnarok was quite boring. I don't know what it was with Ragnarok. I think. Well, at Chaos Prime, SPI essentially attacked it, so they've made enemies of many fan bases and countries. Well, yeah. I mean, you saw my video on it. You saw my video. You saw how I felt about it. I think that was absolutely disgusting with what they did. Manchester United have released their quarterly financial results with debt up to 773 million. Jesus. So chat, what should we do? Whoa, what's with the double become a member stuff? What was that all about, chat? Audio is non-stop. There shouldn't be any music going on right now. I thought I fixed it though. That's the problem. There's nothing here to... Yeah. I mean, Taz messaged me earlier as well. Alright, that should have fixed it. The music should be fine as well now. Go on, someone drop $100 super chat and let's check it out and see if it works. If it doesn't, we can keep dropping 100 bombs and checking it out until we get it working. That's because, chat, over the last 4 minutes, which didn't come up on my messaging, Larin, Gogol Poe, Edward Lafferty, Happy Cloud Gamer, Brandon Lawrence, Chicago 211, all subscribed for Supporter Plus. Devastator 2000 subscribed for Supporter membership. Chili just now. There you go, super chat. Chili's one came up, £5 from Chili. You can have a fiver and like it. It was close to 100, I guess. From Benaya Test. Thanks, Benaya. I appreciate the $6.99. So I guess the audio is completely cut now. It's completely cut because this one needs to go away. Alright, that's the one that needs to be here. There you go. I still have no idea why it's delayed by so much. Or am I hearing it delayed by so much? So there's the two. One for Chile, one for Benaya. Did those chimes appear at the same time as Benaya and Chile? Or did their notifications come before? Because I just might be hearing them late. But at least now you're not hearing them all the time. Okay, so it's not too bad. Okay. Alright, so you wanted Dreamcast Guy. Okay, let's go have a look at Dreamcast Guy. Some of you that joined my stream yesterday.
This game is honestly one of the...
Which one am I looking at, boys? Oh, John? Are we looking at the Spider-Man multiplayer? Man, why does this guy look like he's just seeing, like, his wife with another guy or something? You should have. Some of them in chat said they got his thing. John, which video did you want me to check out? Let's check this last one out and then we can call it a night. GameStar just did a video. Ooh, maybe we can check that one out as well, Mahayanist. I'm going to guess he wants to check out this one. I'm sad that they took the demo off. That sucks. Alright, let's check this one out.
What's up, gamers? Dreamcast Guy here, and today we're going to talk about that mysterious trailer that got leaked online last night for some sort of, apparently, a PlayStation 5 multiplayer Spider-Man game that looked utterly fantastic. Now, we don't know who posted this trailer, but it seems like either a hacker or a developer got access to it and basically was like, here's what we've been working on. We wish we got to release it, because the trailer is actually kind of insane, but let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Dreamcast Guy, and I hope you're having a good day.
By the way, does anyone have the trailer? Because I couldn't find it when I looked for it. And it doesn't look like he's going to play it. Does anyone have the trailer for context? The leaked trailer, or was it removed?
Okay. Just a quick note. I've been talking a bit here and there about my father battling cancer. He won. He beat it. He is cancer-free. He had his last treatment. They did some scans. He's got to do some follow-up stuff, and he's got some damage to like his throat and ears and stuff. But best day of my life. Sorry, I'm just so happy. I'm very happy to be talking about video games. I'm just grinning my freaking face off. But okay, so the project was called Spider-Man: The Great Web, and I can't show you the trailer because...
John, if I showed Fallout trailer on my channel, I will get demonetized instantly.
I'll get copyright strike to hell, but I'm going to talk about it because I've watched it already genuinely like 5 times. So it actually had 5.
Okay, so it seems if you watch the trailer, you get demonetized as well.
5 separate Spider-Man that could be played in it. During the trailer, it showed them all fully voiced, fighting, animated. It had freaking Gwen Stacy Spider-Man. It had freaking Scarlet Spider. It had so much awesome. Multiverse opened by Scarlet Witch. Character customization and options. Diverse.
So what I will do instead, for those of you that are interested, Taz sent me a link. I'll post it in the chat. Watch it. Do what you'll want with it. But it seems that I can't watch it here because I'll be demonetized straight away.
Range of superheroes. Leaked trailer looks quite advanced and almost finished, ready to market. So this looked crazy good because it's based around this multiverse. In the trailer, they actually did the freaking Spider-Verse portal and showed them jumping from reality to reality. And in it, it showed a different version of Doc Ock. It showed Mysterio. It showed a bunch of people that we've battled against in the games we've had so far. Obviously, Spider-Man 2 and Miles Morales. But even better, it was so cool because in the trailer they straight up said you hear the voice of freaking Peter Parker and you hear the voice of Miles Morales being like, hey, I think this is a job bigger than just us, and they start ripping open portals and jumping to other realities. It looked incredible, and I think that's part of why people are kind of confused. In fact, pretty much the entirety of the dialogue right now is people saying, hey, this looks great, why did it get canceled? And it's probably because it's another AAA live service game. Currently, it seems like PlayStation is in a bit of a weird spot where they want to shift towards live service games, but they don't know how to do it. A lot of these mega companies, Microsoft, freaking Nintendo to a lesser extent, but things like Tencent and I don't know, freaking Steam, everybody wants to have a live service game. Everyone wants
a live service game because one live service game will carry your company for years. It's that simple, right? Live service games, if done successfully, will carry you for a long time. Just look how long it's carried Destiny. Look how long it's carried The Division. And no matter how you look at The Division, it is still selling. Microtransactions are still pushing their game forward and allowing new content to come out for it every so often. They might not be having the big updates, but they're still getting new content. So that just funds other aspects of the studio.
Have a game that people are going to be buying microtransactions, logging in forever, right? I mean, it's the Fortnite model. You want to constantly have seasons of content that get people coming back and spending money forever and ever and ever. And
it's like the waifu model for Genshin Impact. They release a character. She looks great. You got all the waifu hunters running in, dropping off their money to try and pull the character. I don't spend money. But, like a character in Genshin is like $200. It's crazy. But, you know, people drop it.
And now we know 2 of these have been...
Benaya, 100%. 100%. It's all about the skins and cosmetics these days. And they've realized that. It's minimum investment, maximum profit.
Canceled very recently. There's the Spider-Man game that's completely been canned, even though it looks done to my eyes. And of course, Last of Us Factions, which apparently was also basically done and just got scrapped. It seems like it's...
See, I'm more upset about Factions being cancelled than I am with Spider-Man. Because I think Spider-Man is going to arrive with Spider-Man 3. You know that multiplayer game that they said that they're splitting the game into 3 and they're going to release the base game and the multiplayer separately? I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be combined with Spider-Man 3. But I think Last of Us Factions would have done so much better and would have had a much better future. For people that actually enjoyed the world of Last of Us, because it was supposed to be like a separate side story of, the whole apocalypse in another area with another group of people, and it would have pushed that narrative and kind of given a different perspective, but it would have had its own storyline that they would have drip fed over time, as well as having the multiplayer aspect. So none of us really know how Factions would have played. Whether it would have been like this massive PvE or a group-based game playing for a story, we don't know. But I was really excited for Factions, and I was really disappointed and upset when they cancelled Factions. Way more upset than hearing the Spider-Man one anyway. I didn't care for the Spider-Man one.
Because according to Naughty Dog's statements, that to make a good live service game, you can't make anything else, or you need a dedicated team to do it.
I mean, that's 100%. If you are going to have a live service game, you need a dedicated team. So why not build a dedicated team for it? If it's going to be good, and it's going to sell, and it's going to make bank, build a team and let them do it. I don't see how this is difficult. Because the money you're going to make off that game, if it's really successful, is going to dwarf the contract, the employee cost to actually do it. Right? It blows my mind. And don't forget, right, like, where I'm working right now, where they sell my talent off to different agencies to, when we do work for them, my salary is pretty much paid off in 2 months. So the rest of the 10 months is profit for the company when I'm being utilized at 100%. So it would be something similar to these people as well. So it just doesn't make sense. To me, it just doesn't make sense.
This is not a side project. It's not a spin-off. You have to treat it as your main bread and butter that's paying the bills, and they just didn't want to do it. The Great Web looked fantastic. Wait a minute. Am I going to get in trouble? Oh, maybe I am. This picture here is from it. Well, be sure to like this video. Hopefully
Seph,
it does
you're right about
not disappear. But yeah, these are all the characters. We freaking... God. Even this art looks so good. Spider-Man 2099. I'm a massive fan of Spider-Gwen. Man, this game was going to be so freaking good. But that's also the downside, is that think about all the amazing people that made. Obviously, I loved Miles Morales. I love the original Spider-Man 2018, and I love Spider-Man 2. These people would not be making games like this anymore. They wouldn't be able to do that mix of big projects and small projects.
You can hire a different team.
Because the team would be perpetually stuck on new quests, new content, new microtransactions, new stuff to keep people obviously logging in. And that's why they apparently canceled Last of Us Factions, is they're like, well, we don't want to stop making new Naughty Dog projects. It's just not worth the overall price to the industry in order to make one live service game to stop 5 possible games in the future. So another aspect of it that people are kind of not understanding, this guy, Game Logic IQ, he basically did this really good breakdown explaining that it's not just as easy as putting more characters in Spider-Man. Like, oh, they've already built New York, they've already made these villains, you could just pop some people in there. He basically talks about the fact that you got to redo the entire game engine to actually have multiple people, all sorts of stuff with frame rate. Basically, he did a huge technical breakdown, basically being like, look, man, having 5 characters inside of a server with microtransactions, with different variables to their costumes and action and combat, that stuff is all expensive. It's not something where you can just, add character, drag and drop. I like the fact that he did this thing.
I mean, what he's saying there, well, this Game Logic is saying, is incorrect. It's really not that difficult.
Obviously, way beyond my pay grade because I am an idiot, but I still think this...
I mean, at least we agree on that one, because you're believing what Game Logic IQ is saying, and it's really not that difficult.
This is shocking to me because Insomniac is, in my opinion, very much been carrying the PlayStation 5. Games like, obviously, the Spider-Man trilogy, Ratchet and Clank, these have been so incredibly good, and so it was weird to me.
Heatwave, I think it'll be less than that. And I think to start off with, it's going to be live service games only.
A couple weeks ago when they actually fired some developers from Insomniac. PlayStation did a round of layoffs. I did a video basically saying how much that sucks. And what happened was essentially they fired anybody that was seemingly redundant or not needed. And I think that now we know that these firings were probably related to this. It's probably that once this game got canceled, for better or for worse, they realized, oh, we don't need this whole live service team we've been building up. But I'm still sad about it because I wish that they had taken those people and maybe shifted them to something else. You know, they're still incredibly good. I still feel like there is a rumor that behind the scenes, PlayStation is still trying to figure out how live service even works on a base level. Like, Helldivers 2 is a PlayStation project done by Arrowhead, and it's been incredibly lucrative. It's one of the biggest games of the year, and it is live service. It does have microtransactions, but they're not overbearing. They don't feel shoved down your throat. Instead, it's like, hey, do you enjoy the game? Do you want to spend money? Do you want this extra outfit? Well, if you want it, there it is. PlayStation is kind of struggling with, okay, there's all that leaked footage of a Horizon Zero Dawn live service game. The Last of Us one had some leaked footage as well. It sounds like PlayStation just doesn't know how do you make people want to buy stuff and want to play it when it doesn't just have a standard single player story. That is a difficult thing. How do you get people addicted to something? It's the math that's not easy to add up.
And that is why they bought Bungie. They bought Bungie because they believed Bungie could help them find that sweet spot to get people addicted to live service games. And this is the biggest issue that live service games have. If you are playing a live service game, it kind of takes over your whole existence. And the most successful live service games are the ones that get you so addicted that you want to spend every waking moment of your day playing it. It's not healthy, and they know it's not healthy, and they just don't care. Because the longer you are in that game, the more chance you have of using money to buy microtransactions. That is it. Every one of these live service games, their sole purpose is to get you as addicted as humanly possible.
But I think at the end of the day, this will end up being better in the long run. I wish we had a chance to play the Great Web. I think it looks fantastic, but Insomniac has a good head on their shoulders. If they canceled it, it could have just been that as complete as it looked, maybe it was like 5 years from launch. We wouldn't even be playing it till freaking the PlayStation 6. But I still think that as a fan, it's fair for us to be incredibly disappointed. I like daring original projects. I like stuff that really pushes the boundaries. And multiplayer Spider-Man, I don't even know how that would work. Each of these people is so strong. Are they going to have independent storylines where they're going to do seasonal events focusing on the heroes?
And that's the problem, right? And that is something that is a huge problem in the games industry right now. There's no one willing to take creative risks. Because if those games fail, like we saw with Immortals of Avium, they just shut down. Sony's net profit margin at less than 6% is so minuscule that they had to let go of a bunch of staff so they could push that net profit up. Because all it takes is one game to fail and Sony is in severe financial trouble. These games cost so much money that they cannot take these risks. It's why we don't get games like Gravity Rush 3 or Banjo-Kazooie or other games. You know, there's a good chance that those games will fail, but there's a good chance that they will succeed. It's a 50-50 gamble. But that's not good enough with the current profit margins. And because of that, you get the standard games that everyone is getting. And honestly, I'm getting so bored of playing the same style of game over and over and over again. because there's no very real variation to games these days. Like, to me, this generation of gaming, this current console generation, though we've had some wonderful games come out in 2023, arguably it's the worst generation for gaming for me. Like, there's games that I want to play, but there's nothing there that screams to me saying, oh my god, I need to play this now. There isn't. Not even Rebirth. And I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I would be all over that shit normally. And I'm not. Like, I played the first 4 hours and it's okay. It didn't blow me away. It didn't tell me, I want you to come back and play this tomorrow. Like, I don't care. I'm more happy right now watching TV series than I am playing video games, and that to me just tells me the state of video games right now. Yo, Benaya, what's up? What was the last game that made me scream? Ooh. I don't actually know. I think that the ones that stick out for me, like, mind blown, Alan Wake was one of them. I needed to play that there and then. Alan Wake 2, I had to. And I loved every moment of that game. That game was fantastic. And deserved to win Game of the Year, in my opinion. And it didn't. So that was one. The one that I recall before that was probably Nier Automata. If you haven't played that, great combat, great story, great voice acting, great characters. Overall, a fantastic game. And then we started to go back to the older generation consoles. Alan Wake 2 wasn't scary. I just loved in order for you to really enjoy Alan Wake 2, you need to play Alan Wake 1. You need to play through the whole thing, because if you're not playing through the whole timeline, you're kind of missing out points. So anyone that jumped into Alan Wake 2 as the first game, I can understand why they didn't enjoy it fully. But as someone who is absorbed in the Alan Wake universe, I loved it. I knew everything. I was telling people, when I was streaming it, I was actually narrating why this was happening, what it meant. I was doing, going back to the original game and explaining why this was important here, because there was references made to the first game and stuff like that. So if you didn't have that back knowledge, Alan Wake 2 probably wouldn't have been as special for you as it was for me. But, yeah. No, I think, JB, we can. I think we can. I just feel like they need to take more creative risks. But with the way the games industry is going now, they can't do that. There's a reason why Factions was cancelled. There's a reason why this is cancelled. Because they're looking at it and the risk financially just isn't worth the merits. Because if it fails, it can sink the company. It's that simple. The money invested, if this becomes a Suicide Squad, it can sink PlayStation. That risk just isn't worth it. The profit margins aren't there to be able to soak up failures. And that's the problem. And so when you don't have profit margins that are there to be able to soak it up, and that's why people want these live service games. So if they get one really successful live service game that they know is going to milk the community and bring in a lot of money, even if you have a failed game, it doesn't matter, because the live service game will make up for it. That's why they're important. And that's why these companies want them. What was Lion saying? Amnesia Bunker was great. I'm going to check that out, Arthur. Actually, the film industry is having the same issue when it comes to making new movies. We get a lot of remakes and things they know will sell, but anything new, no one wants to take a chance on. Exactly. That's the exact point. It's all, and it's what Phil Spencer said, right? There's only PlayStation has been relying on its sequels and remasters for the past 10 years and keep pushing the same IP over and over again. But eventually that well is going to dry up. And when it does, what then? And that's the issue. It's a shame because it looks so good. Also, Ibs liked one of my tweets, and that scares me. Chaos. Ibs is amazing. He's a teddy bear, seriously. Remember we had that remaster boom on movies? Yeah, I do. Xbox is the only one taking risk. They are taking risks with games like Avowed. And even Indiana Jones. When was the last Indiana Jones game that got released? It's a risk that hopefully pays off. But that's the problem. With risk comes... You kind of need to balance it. And that's where the live service games from Microsoft really kick in, because they kind of cover that shortfall if things go horribly wrong. And that's why Microsoft invested heavily in live service games. And, they bought companies like King for Candy Crush. They bought Call of Duty. They bought Activision for Call of Duty to bring in that revenue to be able to counteract those shortfalls. They bought Mojang with Minecraft, which brings in an enormous amount of money to counteract those issues. And that Microsoft has been building that back catalog of constant stream money for a long time.
Stuff like that sounds so cool, but PlayStation is good at their single-player stories. God of War, Last of Us, a lot of the stuff is really good at pulling the heartstrings. So, it's probably a good choice, but as a fan, as a mega fan specifically of Spider-Man, this sucks. But what are you going to do? How do you guys feel about this? Are you excited about Spider-Man the Great Web? Are you disappointed that it's just gone? Go look up the leaked trailer if you haven't already. It's all over social media. It's wild.
That's pretty much him done. But yeah, that's pretty much the situation that we're in right now. How did Hellblade do on PlayStation, by the way, Benaya? I don't know. That's a genuine question. I genuinely don't know how it did. Hey chat, don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. We are trying to get to 7,000 subs, as I've been saying. I know I might be sounding like a broken record, but you know what? People have constantly asked me to keep mentioning it, so that is exactly what I'm doing. Apparently I don't say it enough. And I'm a dodo on myself. So, here you are. Come on, we just need one more sub for me to get back to 6,630. Make it happen, people. You finally got Dark Knight? Yo, that's a good tank. That's a good tank. Supposedly it broke even on PlayStation in 3 months. See, that's deemed as a failure, right, Chili? Because they need to break even in the first week. People only look at the first week of sales. You got the lifetime sales and people will look at that, but it's generally the first few days that you're supposed to make big bank on that game, on your game. Yeah, A Realm Reborn is the weakest part of the storyline. It's not great. But how long is the ending to A Realm Reborn? The last time I remember it was like 40 minutes. It was a long ass cutscene. It's like a movie. I mean, it even warns you that it's going to be... Make sure you've got enough time because this is going to be a long cutscene. Yeah, it's like a movie at the end, right? So it's still the same. Damn. Because I remember when I first got there and it gave me the prompt and I was like, yeah, I need to go out in 10 minutes. I'm probably not going to watch this now. And when I came home, I watched it. It was like 40 minutes long. When I made dinner. But yeah, I'm super excited when the Xbox release officially comes out, so we can play 14 together. Crisis Core would make sense playing first. It gives you back history. I mean, it's a prequel, right? Crisis Core is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. So you can't get a retainer yet? You should have the basic ones, right? Oh, right, in that respect, Seph. Yeah, I get that. This is another really good game if you haven't played it. Control Ultimate Edition, Game Pass. I was so pissed with this Ultimate Edition. That was not cool, man. A guild is kept at 300k? Wait, you've got 300k already? My biggest issue with this was the fact that 505 went full scumbag. They had Control released, and then they released the Ultimate Edition, which had the PS5 improvements. And I said, cool. I was excited because I wanted to play with the ray tracing and stuff. And so I went to transfer my game save. And 505 Games said, it's exactly the same game with the exact same code base. But we're not going to let you do it because we're scum of the earth. We want you to buy the game again, which I was willing to do, by the way, and play it from scratch, which I wasn't prepared to do. I heard that Ubisoft games were on PS Plus. I'm not sure if all of them are on there, but the classic titles were on PlayStation for a long time. You've only just noticed, Chili? Yeah, I remember looking at it last month. I mean, it's been there for a while. Though I'm on premium, so that's probably why. Venom 3 titled The Last Dance. Well, chat. If there's nothing else, I think that is a fine ass. If there's nothing else, I guess that's it. Like I said, this weekend I'm going to start doing some Steam Deck port reviews in terms of just trying to get the best settings to run the games at. So if there's anything you're interested in me checking out that I have available, do drop me a message on Discord. Definitely check me out. Check out the Discord. It's been growing, and we have a lot of people in there, and lots of fun discussions. Lots of people trolling me. Oh, that's actually a good point. Before anyone pulls out, actually, I'll leave that for the next one. I'll leave that for stream on Thursday, Sappho. But that licensing issue is disgusting, and there's no fix for it. There is no fix for it. I think that's the worst takeaway. If you get hit by that licensing thing, there is no fix for it. Sony doesn't know how to fix it because your details just come off the platform. All your licenses come off. And I don't even know if they have a backup of it. Not that I've heard, Chili. No, they haven't. People are still complaining, and they're contacting Sony support, and Sony support is telling them to piss off. Which sounds about right, because Sony of America told me to fuck off in their chat, which I sent to Square Enix, because at the time when I was playing one of their games and I had a problem with the microtransaction not going through, I didn't really have that was my only course of action to try and resolve it. But their customer service literally wrote down, fuck off, and then they blocked my PlayStation account from accessing their customer support. That sucks, and then there's them telling you to fuck off. Literally, that's what they sent me. That's cold. But yeah, I don't know about the licensing, if it's been fixed or not, but from what I've heard, they're not able to fix it. And they're ignoring it and hoping it goes away because it hasn't affected a lot of people. Not even that's correct, Sepho, because KMed with the highest stars was told to piss off with Helldivers 2 when he couldn't jump in. They said that they're not going to refund him when he wanted a refund. But that's it, folks. That's it. We'll be back again on Thursday. And hopefully we'll maybe play some games as well. We'll see. But if there's any additional content that you would like me to look into, starter content, join my Discord. We've got a section there for suggestions. Like I said, I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to make it bigger and better, and I'm looking for ideas of what people would like to see on the channel as it evolves. Because obviously, I like doing these streams, these content streams. I've been talking about a community night for ages, and I want to do those as well. So we can pick a game like maybe a Halo multiplayer, or just something that we can all kind of enjoy, jump in, have a bit of fun in. Something that everyone's going to have access to. But also additional content like the Steam reviews that I've been asked to do in my Discord, and I'll see how they do for a few reviews to see how they're going. Or maybe you guys just want me to follow certain games to do patch notes and news updates for Helldivers or the Elden Ring when that comes out. So yeah, just feel free to jump into my Discord. We've got a section there, and yeah, put your suggestions down, because like I said, I'm really trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subs by the end of the year. We're about 3,500 away from hitting that goal. It shouldn't be too difficult, but with the way Xbox's influences are going, they're doing more damage than good. And I don't want that. I want to actually make this channel successful. So with your help, hopefully we can do that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend, folks. Peace out, and have a good night. Yeah, I'm waiting for you guys to subscribe, by the way. I'm still waiting for you to subscribe. Okay, I'm gone now. Take it easy, folks. See you Thursday.